Yeah, I'm all sweaty from wearing that jacket earlier. Mm. You ain't done yet?
Yep.
Always taking forever. What up, you guys? What up, you guys? What up, Spin? Like Ed Eagle. What's up? Welcome to the chat, everybody. Honestly, don't really know who this dude is that we're going to see or what they're all about, really, but we're going to find out. We are going to find out. I thought that was a path, but I don't think it is.
Sure it is.
It is now. Oh, I like your shirt.
Thanks.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to finish my cigarette first.
Sure.
Red Bull cigarette combo. Nothing but the best. Oh, you want some of my Red Bull? Go ahead, Fred.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Can you go back and ask those people if we could have that motorhome?
Yeah,
You
we
want
just
the
need for a
Cougar?
moment.
You want the Cougar, babe? You want the Cougar motorhome? One day we'll get there. What up, you guys?
Sacred Tony, my man.
I think these people lean more right than left. And this isn't a protest. No, we're not at a protest. Hit the like button. 140 people. Only 50 likes. Run it up. Run it up early.
Thank you.
Goals, baby, goals. God bless you, bro.
This hat, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. You like my hat? Definitely my dream is to have. Yeah, I would love for me and my wife and our dog to be able to go travel and go see places that we've never seen. But that's in the future. It's in the future. Damn, we went up 50 likes that quick. 50 likes that quick. Let's go. Run it up.
Like guys on your way.
It's backwards. Yeah, I don't know how to unmirror it on
We are in.
on YouTube. I don't know how to make it to where it's not mirrored.
Where's that Cornelius Pass?
We're in Beaverton.
Beaverton, yeah. We're like.
Bro, look at my tan. My watch tan. My watch has mace on it, so I haven't soaked it enough yet. But look at that shit. I told you I get dark. I get dark as fuck. Look, I'm dark as pain already. Look at that white strip. Look at the white strip.
Jesse, I sent you guys a message in X last night.
I forgot my fucking
I
microphones.
got your hoodie. You can come get it whenever you want. I mean, just let me know.
Oh yeah, I meant to send you her phone number so that you can call her.
I have it at my place. Can't wait to get it to you guys.
Nah, we're selling it. Hold up.
You know that I'm very appreciative of all my Patriots and all my members.
No, he's not. He talks shit all the time, dude.
It's what I do best. What's up, Tahiti? Here,
All right, let's get in here.
Thank you, Fiona. Jay Mallet. Sorry.
You rang. What's up? Yeah, I'm live, bro. Yeah, you try to interrupt my live, I'll kick your ass, let's say. Huh? Yeah, I'm live. I just went live.
Guys support us, support each other. It's right.
Huh?
So we're gonna.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine.
I see that we're probably going to be seeing more of the on the conservative side. So.
Huh? Yeah.
You Tommy boy.
Yeah, I am.
Nice to meet you. First time you come to see Dr.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we
Yeah, it's the
really wanted to come here and check out what.
I loved your interview with Jonathan.
Oh yeah, Jonathan
Okay,
Lockwood. We love Jonathan Lockwood.
Underground Portland friends, including my Gays for Trump friends.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Tell them we love them.
Yep. Tell them we said hi.
I will.
Yep. We are live.
Live streaming on Facebook.
Live stream on YouTube.
YouTube.
You came a long way.
Yep. Oh, go ahead.
Ice facilities nonsense.
Oh.
Thank you.
Hi.
Sir, I saw that.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
Tommy, how you doing?
Good. I'm gonna step in here. Well, you're all right.
Sorry.
All right.
We might be in the ways and.
That's all right.
We've got more sign-in sheets over here, folks, if you want to come in here. We have the spares on there. This is sign in right here. I'm signed in for, yes, of course. If you're from Parkland or another county, it's a little bit tough to see. Well, how are you?
I think because I did the elevators in Yeah. Yeah, I'm from.
Oh, okay, that's great.
They're changing their
Great, that's good. Yeah,
Oh,
thank you for telling me.
God bless you.
God bless you too. Oh, look at like.
Hello.
You should say hi to Mary. This is
Hello, I'm Tommy. Nice to meet you guys.
You.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here.
Oh,
Tommy. Nice to meet you.
your shirt.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? It's Iceman, dog. You think I was gonna miss this, bro? You think I was gonna miss it?
If you want to sit here. No, Tina's right over there. I don't know.
I got Shane with me, so we'll sit right here.
All right, guys. Good to see you.
You too.
See if you get some minutes.
What's up, bro?
It's nice to see you.
I told you I'd be here.
Did you get my DM
On X?
about Kamala?
No, I haven't seen it if I did.
You know Kamala Patty, right?
Yeah.
She's in Mike's chat
You guys have been
giving them help on having a boy, like getting
Yeah.
hard sense on the.
I have, and I was really impressed
Oh,
by it.
actually,
I
yeah,
did
Andrew,
last week.
Johnny and I are like watching this.
15
Going, what
minutes.
the
That
fuck?
was
She's
crazy.
not- to
And
do
then
this.
seeing all the
You
assault
get
going on.
motivation
Yeah.
and tell them that you're disabled so that you don't have to do community service.
Well, you
What is she doing?
That would
2 weeks from the election.
What the hell?
I've been
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's beyond ridiculous.
That's kind of scary.
Nito
Are you-
tonight, just that I heard this guy
Standing here for a
here.
Yeah, I'll be right here.
Yeah, it's gonna be very.
Keep an eye on my phone.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, no kid. Is it on a flock bed? Or is it? We'll just stick it in. If that's all right with you. If that's all right with you, we try to leave, we'll just plug it in.
Now, we were taking.
That's good. Yeah, good idea. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want me sitting right there?
Because that's projecting into the other room.
That's fine. It's fine.
These are right by the two ice cream friends here.
I forgot my microphones, man.
You wouldn't believe me and this guy, we've been kicked, pepper sprayed, cussed at, chased.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we've been through it all. Fighting.
You see what they did to my car?
Yes, I did. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Saw that.
You can't have that. Yeah, I know the guy.
Yesterday. Yeah, it happened the day before
He is
yesterday.
a much
It
maligned.
happened before May Day.
This is Jenny Camper. She's running for Washington County Chair against Natifa. Natifa.
Natifa Pie.
Vote for
For
Jenny.
you and I, they probably,
He's got 30,000 people on his.
Yeah, no,
Now,
I'm
you got about 20.
yeah, it was at the flag, no, at the flag in Oregon City is where she was at. I don't think she's also
Expression.
They got it from
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, he can. I love he knows. He's got all the authority.
Yeah.
So he knows somebody. Hey. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
We just do live recording and we're very
Hey guys, brave isn't the word for me, guys. I've seen this guy face down 200 Antifa people single-handedly.
Tommy Boy always forgetting something.
So exaggerated.
Here, I'll trade you.
Hey, can I have my Red Bull back? Okay.
I only took one drink.
I don't give a fuck.
Are you guys already streaming live?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
it just started. Vote Christensen, Metro President.
Sir,
Vote Christensen for Metro President.
Iceman.
AKA Iceman to the rescue.
Yeah, that's about it, man. Exactly. That's the plan to the rescue.
So what's the deal with this guy? I've never heard of him.
He does all these, he like breaks down all the vote numbers and tells you what's true and what's not true and how they basically cheat the vote. And he breaks down all the numbers on how people get, and it's scary because you vote, you think your vote is safe. He talks about how they completely manipulate all the numbers of the ballots that are in the system.
I believe it.
And
Especially the mail-in voting.
yeah, exactly.
There should be no electronic voting and there should be no mail-in voting, only in-person ID voting.
Exactly.
And that would stop so much of this shit.
100%.
Paper ballots only like they used to.
Exactly.
What are you talking about? The paper ballots?
Yeah, because that's what this dude does is it talks about voter fraud and the votes
You
and
guys, you're too young to remember that, but in the old days, you'd go down to your neighbor's house, you'd go in their garage, and you'd pull up, they'd look at your ID, and they'd pull up your thing, and you can go in this little closet, and they'd
yeah.
start your vote, and you get back, and they'd look you up and down and make sure, I mean, that was legit. Now, you mail your ballot in, you don't know where it's going.
That's what I worry about. Is like that's the easiest way to commit fraud
Yeah.
is by mail. They can
Mail-in
throw mine in the
ballots are
trash.
fraudulent. Not having to show
They
ID.
could act like they did it. You know what I mean? There's ways.
Looks like 3 more years of Donald Trump. Look at
Comes in, drops in. I want to drop.
That shit is great, bro.
Mine's not showing up.
That shit is amazing. Why is it? You got to get a better angle.
Yeah. It's the light.
That's fucking funny, bro.
I saw you rolling on your motorcycle yesterday in Gresham. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I did a little live messing around on it today too.
All right, I got it. Keep going.
Yeah, no, not Tina's right over there too, right?
Yeah, we just talked to him.
There's also a governor's debate on TV at 7, but Medina didn't get into it. So
Yeah, because they made it all kinds of ridiculous conditions that they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
he's the only one that really has a different viewpoint. And
Yeah, and they kept him out.
yeah,
They did everything they could to keep him out. That's pathetic.
too bad.
Testing, can you hear me?
Yes, that's clear.
Can you guys hear her?
I can.
Hi, everybody.
I was talking to my chat.
Welcome on this beautiful day out here at the Rock Creek Christian Center. My name is Mary Palpopoulos, for those of you who don't know, and it won't be on the test. And welcome on this beautiful day to hear Dr. Frank. You all know who Dr. Frank is. How many of you have heard him before? Okay.
That's awesome.
That's wonderful. So this is a repeat performance, but it isn't because he always has something new to share with us, okay? So this event is a collaboration with Washington County's Truth in Elections group. And that's our Washington County elections team and the Clackamas County elections team and Teresa, who does amazing work and thank you everybody. Karen, all our people, everybody, Steve, Hunter, Jeff.
What
so
up,
many
everybody?
people that came together to pull this all together. So, before, without further ado, because you don't want to hear from me, you want to hear from Dr. Frank. But before we do, I'd like to ask Dr. Frank to please start us in prayer. And then we can say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, you want me to pray?
Yes.
All right, maybe we should stand because we're gonna say that pledge afterwards anyway. Bow our heads. Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for the privilege of serving you at this amazing cusp in history. I just pray that your Holy Spirit will fill this room, fill our minds, fill our bodies, guide our hands to do the right work, our feet to go the right direction, our minds to think the right strategies and the right thoughts. Lord, I just pray that this evening will be glorifying you and beneficial to all. And I ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Who's gonna lead? I'll start us because I got the microphone. Okay. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes, sir.
Are you gonna say? Take it away. Glad to be with you guys. I've been traveling all over your state. I don't know if you noticed, Teresa, when you came in, raise your hand, Teresa. She coined it the Oregon Blitz. And I've been here 1 week every month this year, and there's more to come. This was so far. Why am I coming to Oregon so much? And the answer is because you guys are at the epicenter of election reform. And a lot of things have come together at one time. And it's not by accident. There have been a lot of us working behind the scenes to make things happen at the same time. For example, did you notice that last week your judicial watch lawsuit included where the judge ruled and the court ruled that you had to remove 800,000 people from your voter rolls?
Yes.
You heard me a year ago. What was the number I said at that time? About 720,000, and I said it was conservative. Okay, and I still think the 800,000 is not enough. I think it's about twice that, and I'm going to show you that tonight as well. So anyway, I've been traveling home state. I've been coming here since 2021, and I remember I did a 10-county tour along the coast in 2021 and met a lot of you then and kind of got things going. But in those days, we really had an immature strategy of how to approach this, and we've come a long way since then. We've grown a lot together. A lot of us made a lot of errors at the beginning. I don't want to call them errors, but it's just inexperience. We didn't know what we were doing. That's the biggest problem in our country, actually. Is we've all been so disinvolved from our civic engagement, from our elections. Some of us knew what to do or how to do it. When this 2020 election happened, and we were all just sitting there like deer in the headlights. Nobody knew what to do. Well, now we know. Oh boy, we are cleaning it up all over the country. Now, Oregon is special, and I'm going to tell you a couple of things. So what happened was, I was traveling around, and I was going mostly where I was invited. You know, it makes sense. You know, I'm on the road about 25 out of 30 days a month, pretty much constantly. I get to go home Wednesday night. I'm doing a red eye, go home, and I can be home for about 6 days. It's my longest rest this year. I'm pretty. My wife wants me to open the pool, so I get home. So that'll be fun. It's a good break. I need to exercise. I need to get out in the sun, and it's good. But anyway, I mean, I was coming where I was supposed to be invited, and I hadn't gone to any of these counties over here yet on the dry side of your state, only on the wet side. And I was speaking to a sheriff in Clatsop County. That's about a year ago. And he said to me, Dr. Frank, I was showing him the evidence, the data from Clatsop County. He was like really impressed. Most sheriffs are pretty fed up with us as grassroots people because we run to the sheriff with all kinds of accusations, but not evidence. And I was showing actual evidence. And sheriffs, their whole mindset shifts when I show them their own evidence from their own counties. So I showed him, he's like, Dr. Frank, he says, how come you haven't been over here? He says, those people over there would love you. He says 13 out of 15 of them already want us to secede from the state and join Idaho. So they love you over there. So I thought, great. So he called several of the sheriffs over here, and Teresa and Stephen and I have been doing trips. We've done multiple tours out there to meet with them. But the problem I run into, just by way of introduction, is I show up in those counties and they look at me like, what's wrong with you, Doctor? What are you doing here? We don't need you here. We don't need you here, Dr. Frank. Our elections are fine. What do you mean? Your
Yeah,
elections
right.
are fine? Oh, yeah, we love our clerks. We love our commissioners. We have a great sheriff. Everything's fine here, Dr. Frank. And so I was just asking at that point, well, tell me about your school boards. And without exception, they all go, oh. Oh, okay, but wait a minute, you're a 4-1 MAGA county, but yet your school boards are flaming liberal. That doesn't make sense, does it? Everybody likes to
Flaming
talk about
liberal.
elections as the top of the ticket. They forget that actually the more important races are the local races. We learned in 2020 that school board race is probably the most important race in here. The most important race, in town. Anyway, so I started going out there. So the first thing I run into is I had to convince them something was wrong with their elections because they don't think everything's okay. So once I show them their data, then boy, are they on board. We have lots of teams, new teams that are forming over there. And I think I've had the Washington County team help a few of them out because Washington County team, your team is one of the more advanced in the state. I'm really proud of you guys. So anyway, So we were last year going to kind of have our big reveal day where we started reading in everything. And we had tons of actual real evidence, actual real fraud, real illegal voting, real examples of problems. We're going to have multiple counties last year all at once stand up and start reporting that in the media and right in front of your commissioners, right in the public. Read it right into the formal record. It's awesome. We're planning to do that. But we were waiting for the judicial watch lawsuit to finish up. And you notice it didn't finish till last week. So while we were waiting, I was harvesting over here. And we've probably got another half dozen times. Which is awesome. And basically, I'm not trying to like build suspense. I just want to kind of lay it out. But there's a lot of meat to put on these phones. The basic principle is this. Your election equipment is illegal. We proved it in court. Your voter rolls are illegal. We proved it in court. Why are you're wasting huge amounts of money. Every election you waste a massive amount of money, counting money, mailing ballots to people who aren't real. Okay?
Yeah.
There you go. What do you got? You have the ballot in hand?
My father passed away last year.
And you have a ballot in hand?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. You're wasting huge amounts of, thanks for bringing that.
Yeah.
You're wasting huge amounts of money mailing ballots to people who aren't here. So why are you doing that? That's stupid. Stop doing it. All that's missing is for you to realize, hey, wait a minute. Our state systems are illegal. Our voter rolls are illegal. Our counties are wasting huge amounts of money.
Right.
We don't have to comply with an illegal, non-compliant system. In fact, why don't you follow federal law that your state isn't? All you are lacking is the knowledge that you're in this mode, and about 5 other counties could link elbows with you and do it together. All you're missing is organization. Everything else you have, where we go? So, get your kid in gear, let's go. Okay? We're going to take back our elections. We're going to take them back, and you notice that brochure that Teresa put out, 7 steps taking back the elections. I wrote that about 4 years ago. I was still pretty naive at that point about a lot of things, but it's still been working. We are following that. My contact information is on the back if you want to get to. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm here to talk about. And I want to put some flesh on those bones for you. I just jumped right in, but I've had fun with you. Most of you already know me. Most of you heard my blathering about. I'm happy to be here. So I was, before my last trip in February, a couple months later, I did an interview with Scott Kester in Down Douglas, and then Good Cancer had me on. And that was the week that they announced that 800,000 people were being removed from the rolls. And so I made this post. I said, Oregon voters are amazing. The state of Oregon has about 3 million voting age people. 3 million. That's how many people you have voting age. Assuming they're eligible to vote. That's how many people voting age. 3 million people. According to the official state records for the 24 general election, there were over 3 million people listed in their voter rolls. About 3.1. And about 2.3 million people voted. So just think about that. 3.1 million minus 800,000 is 2.3 million. In other words, every person in the Oregon voter rolls voted in the 2024 general election.
That's crazy.
100% turnout.
Wow.
Okay.
Right.
It's already been proven in court that Oregon's voter rolls are out of compliance with state and federal law. That their election systems are out of compliance with state and federal law. The solution is obvious. Oregon counties should stop using the unconstitutional, illegal election rolls and systems being imposed upon them by the state. They need to run their own elections locally with their own eyes and hands. They would save large amounts of money. Or if I could,
And they know.
yeah,
Mine's from Alaska.
Are you getting the point?
Yeah.
I just told you the argument in 2 different ways. Okay?
Just exposed photo.
What have I been doing?
Yeah.
For the last 2 days, I've been hiding in my room up in down Salem. I'm just gonna show you something. Let me show you something. Remember Fire Marshal Bill? Let me show you this. Okay. So I just
According to the left, there's no voter fraud though.
12 hours. Okay. Let me tell you what I did. I have 6 copies of your voter rolls. One from 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and now March of 26. I have 6 copies of the whole state. And what I did is I broke it out into counties and I analyzed every county. By the way, you're never supposed to show a table in a presentation, so forgive me. It's online, and you can go on my website and look at it. I'm going to be showing your commissioners tomorrow. It's sort of fun to come back and say, I told you so. Because when I was there a year ago, I told them, and you can watch it online. I could take the 5 minutes that they gave me, and I recorded it, posted it on my YouTube channel. And I told them, we're going to be revealing all kinds of fraud and problems in your elections coming up. And you can either get prepared and be proactive, or you can wait till it happens to you and be reactive. And I'm offering my help. And I said, look, I don't charge anything. I'm not charging anything tonight to be here. So there's no excuse to not have me in and come and help you clean up your elections. All you got to do is invite me. Delighted. Of course, they didn't invite me. But tomorrow I'm going to say, now that it's proven that your elections are illegal in court and your voter rolls are illegal in court, I guess maybe you should have listened to me. Huh? Maybe you should get involved, right? Let's see what I'm going to do. Start. Don't have fun with that. Come on. But let me just tell you what this table is, because now you can read the numbers. They're all too long. But what it is for every county, all 36 here counties I've got listed on this side, I've shown you how many people were in the 2025 rolls, the January 2025 rolls. And then here I've listed everybody that's in the March 2026 rolls. Now, this is just not a statistic. This is not a number. I know the name of every person, their address, and their voting history, the complete list of every name. I know whether they're active, inactive, or whatnot. So when your Secretary of State says, I'm going to remove 800,000 voters, who's going to check it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've already been checking them, and you're going to be shocked because what they're saying to you now is, oh no, we take out all kinds of voters. They do. They really do. I've listed them right here who they remove. But what you need to say is when he says we take people out, you need to say, well, how many people did you put back in?
Yes.
Okay, not of the same names, new names. They'll take a whole bunch of people out and put a whole bunch of new people in. In fact, let's just look at your county, for example, and I don't expect you to be able to read this, but I'll give you a couple of numbers. So in your January 2025 rolls, here we are in which county were you in?
Washington.
I know. You had 489,000
I know.
total in your voter rolls, and 395,000 of them were active. So that means you're mailing out 395,000 ballots. You got it? Okay. And there were about 94,000 inactive. So total of 488. Ignore that number for now. Let's just look at the 395. So you were mailing 395,000 ballots out. Then in between, your county removed 30,000, 33,000, and they added back 36,000.
No.
Now, wait a minute.
What?
You're shrinking as a county. I have your population graph. I'm about to show you that. So when they say they're taking out, they're not lying. But the question, it's like you go to the bank and you take $50 out. Well, that's fine, but how much did you put in? You want to know what the balance is afterwards, right?
Mhm.
So they took out 33,000 and they put in 36,000. So now
That's
you have
insane.
491,000 in the rolls instead of 488,000. But this is where it's important. You used to have 395,000 actives. Now you have 400,000 actives. But your rolls, your population has gone down, but your rolls have added 5,000 more people you're mailing ballots to.
That's
You see what I'm saying? Your clerk isn't even able to do this. Okay? Because, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, because your clerk actually doesn't
That's
control
crazy.
your election. Your clerk thinks he is, but he's not. Let's just talk about that. And I just jumped right in. I didn't even introduce myself. You all know who I am.
We do.
Crazy guy, crazy physicist guy.
We do now.
From, Ohio. likes to do modeling. All right. Okay, here we go. What's wrong with our elections? Now, I do this every day all over the country, and people come here, grassroots teams every day, and most of them are about 5 years behind the time. They're spinning their wheels doing things that are kind of a waste of time. And I talk about it all the time. They're hamster wheels. They think they're doing something good. And let me give you an example of hamster wheel. And I don't mean to insult you, but I appreciate all the efforts that are going on. But you have
He just got home.
called Envote by mail. Know what I'm talking about NVBM?
Yes.
And vote by mail, yes.
I think it's a great idea. But think about what your strategy is. Your strategy is you're going to collect a bunch of signatures.
Yep.
To get an issue on the
Ballot.
ballot. And if it passes the ballot, then it goes to the legislature to write a law. You might have something maybe in a couple of years, maybe. So if you're looking for that initiative to give you a remedy, I don't think that's a very good strategy. However, I love the initiative because you're educating the people that we want to get rid of it. So if your strategy is we're engaging this as a public education effort, power to you. I'm behind you. Let's keep. It's nothing wrong with that.
Because the video is
To
monetized.
give you your remedy, you're living in law on that. I'm telling you right now, there isn't one good legislature in the country, not one legislature in this country that has done anything meaningful in election reform since the 2020 election. I know up close and personal.
My service went out. We were too far out.
But when you read it, it's nothing. They're doing nothing. Here's another thing people are confused about. Oh, Dr. Frank, the SAVE Act, that'll fix everything. Yeah, let's just pass another gun law. That'll fix violence. Your states are already not following the law. What's bringing in another law? Nothing. And by the way, it will be immediately challenged to go to the Supreme Court because the Constitution of the United States is quite clear on this matter that the states get to decide the manner of their elections. And so the federal government can't dictate how you run your elections. It's up to you. It's constitutional. And I actually like it that we're a federation of states. I think each state should. We don't want power to be centralized. So here we are in that situation. So if you're waiting for Trump to save the day, you're living in la la land again. He's awesome. But he did a post, I'll show it to you in a minute. He can't fix it. You have to fix it. Its solution is not top down, the solution is bottom up, and that's what I've been teaching people all over the country. Now, all this some meat on those bones. So what's wrong with our elections isn't mail-in voting, isn't electronic machines. I love Mike Lindell, he and I are good friends. Spent many weeks with him. He's a sweetheart. lot of energy to give it, but he's a sweetheart. I love him. He's awesome. He wants to melt the machines down and make them into prison bars. Exactly. Okay, I agree. But the machines aren't the only problem. I mean, really, there's three parts to an election. There's who gets to vote. That's the voter rolls. How do you vote? Actually carry it out, count it, tally it up, and then how do you report it? Those are like three different phases, and each one of them has got this rife with opportunities for cheating and fraud. Just fixing one of them doesn't fix the problem. I mean, that's the situation. So what's wrong with their elections? I'm going to tell you what's wrong, and I know what's wrong because I've been doing this every day, and I've learned. This is what's wrong in every state, and I mean every state, no exceptions. Elections are now centrally controlled by the states. You're not alone in this respect. Every state is now centrally controlled. It's interesting. I've been doing a lot of work in Alabama, and I mentioned they use CS&S machines in their state. And I was with the clerk the other day, and she said, and I was asking about her voter rolls. She was saying, "Okay, let me check something." She's trying to. She said, "Oh, I can't log in." Well, what's wrong? Well, they're having a storm in Nebraska today, and our voter rolls are in Nebraska.
What?
All of Alabama's voter rolls aren't even in their own state. Okay, they're in another state.
all messed up.
So they're all centrally controlled. Your elections are centrally controlled. Most of the stuff that's happening in your voter rolls isn't even being done by your government officials. It's being done by an outside NGO known as ERIC, Election Registration Information Center. So anyway, because someone else is in control of your elections, you've lost your constitutional voice. We no longer are representing you. I've come up with a simple way to explain this to people so you can understand. So when I was in college, we had this central computer on campus. It was a VAX computer in our case. And around campus, we had these terminals. They're basically just a screen and keyboard. And we called it dumb terminals. Anybody who was around in those days remember, we called them dumb terminals because they don't have any software, any files, any programming, nothing in there. It's just a dumb communication device with the central computer. Well, guess what? That's the way your elections are right now. You've got a central database and your clerks are just dumb terminals. And what do I mean by that? Let's say you go in and you want to register to vote and you talk to the clerk. Does the clerk say, "Oh, you want to register to vote? Great, fill out this form." Does she then add you to the voter rolls? No, she logs into the state system and add you to the state system out there in the cloud somewhere, right? Or let's say you mentioned your father passed away, okay? You can go in and say, "Would you please take my dad out of the voter rolls?" Does she take out the voter rolls and remove? No, it's a he in this county. He logs into the state system, fills out a form, and requests that the state remove the dead person from the voter rolls.
Wow.
So, in other words, your clerk is not in control of the voter rolls. And a lot of them want to argue with me on that. And so I just simply give them the list of all the names that have been added or removed from their roll last year. And they didn't do that. Somebody else did that. So it's a pretty easy argument. They quickly lose. Anyway, so the problem is the clerks themselves, they don't understand this. They think they're in control of their elections, but they're not. So, for example, at the end of election day, what does the clerk do? The clerk takes a stick out of the machine, walks over, and plugs it into a dumb terminal. And the tabulation is even done at the state level. In other words, your clerks aren't even counting the ballots. Right? Are you counting the ballots? Neither are they. They aren't running the rolls. They aren't running the tabulation. They're just dumb terminals. I'm not insulting their intelligence. I'm talking about the functions they perform. But yet they think they're in control of their election.
How do you know May's face is on house arrest?
That the people know there was an election. The people who cast the votes decide nothing. The people who count the votes decide everything. So you think by voting you are being decisive, but actually, if you're not counting them and you're not counting them local, you are out of control. And I just have to tell you this story. It's a great story. Mary's over here.
May's face is on house arrest.
I knew it. I knew it.
So I can't tell you what that's going on. You know, when there are legal investigations, you're not allowed to say something sometimes. I was over here on this side, right side of the state, and I was sitting with the sheriff, and I'm showing him how the voter rolls are being manipulated.
What?
And he was really upset and was like, "Who's doing this, Dr. Frank?" You know, he says, I know my population in my county. It goes up by 1 or 2% a year. Your store voter rules change 40%. I mean, my population didn't change 40%. But your voter rules did. That's incredible. That's crazy. He says, who's doing this? He says, I know the machines are online, the tabulating machines, but who's manipulating the rolls? I said, whoa, hold it right there. I said, usually when I'm talking to sheriffs or talking to officials, I have to convince them that their machines are online. Like they admitted in the Tim Simple case, in court, when your lovely silver-haired, beautiful Japanese lady said, or Hawaiian, I don't remember. It was Asian. She said, yeah, she could turn the modems on and she didn't even need a password. That's in the court record. Okay? That's not me making that up. And you're crazy. Your machines are accessible wirelessly. But anyway, I'm off topic. Let's get back to the story. So I said, usually I have to convince people that their machines are online. How do you know the machines are online? He says, well, during the 2024 election, I was on the ballot, running for sheriff. He says, and I wanted to see how we were doing. And I'm several blocks down from the registrar's office. So I thought I would just check and see what the county had. So I logged into the county system and I could see all the tallies on all the tabulators. And I was way ahead. So I called up my clerk's name, and I remembered him, but I'm not telling you because I'm protecting identity. He says, I'm going to say he's Mary. He says, hey, Mary, I see that I'm doing really well in the election. Thanks for running a good election. Looks like we're going to be working together next year. He's like, wait a minute. How do you know what the talents are? He says, I'm looking at them right now on the computer. She says, no, you can't know the tallies, but the election is underway. Nobody knows the tallies. He goes, I'm looking at them right now on the computer. And she's, no, I can do it. So he takes his phone, sends it to her, and she's like, what? She runs a couple more ballots to one of the tabulators. She takes another picture. The machines are online. He's monitoring the tallies on every machine. The clerks don't know. The clerks don't even look for it because they're told by the County Clerks Association that the machines can't connect to the internet. But I promise you, they're all on networks. I have the BIOS passwords for all of your machines in this county. Do you remember when I was in that case with Tim Simple, that because I signed an NDA, I got to see all of the records. I can log into every one of your election machines anytime I want. It can even be turned off. It doesn't look like it's on, but if a computer's plugged in, it's really on. And I can log in and I can get into everything in your election. So can anybody with a high school level hacking ability. Your elections are totally networked. That's why when the government set up HAVA in 2002, Help America Vote Act, they simultaneously set up something called CISA, C-I-S-A, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Act. Because when the states objected, federal government said, we want no more hanging chads. We want you all using electronic machines. They all said, no. They're not secure. No worries. We'll put together secure networks for you. And the government will protect them. That's what happened. By the way, did you notice this year, Trump threw out CISA? He closed that division. He also threw out USAID.
Yes, sir.
Did you also notice that he took over Venezuela?
Yes, sir. Trump freed Venezuela.
There's a reason for these things, okay? They're all connected to elections. The 2016 and 2020 elections were being manipulated and managed through Venezuela. That's the whole point. It's like a personal vendetta for you. He's just going down the line, check. Anyway, see where this is going. So anyway, that sheriff that I met with, who I'm not revealing his identity, he knows that the machines are online, and several of your sheriffs now know. So don't make me argue that, okay? But I've learned something. I've learned that information is worthless. Would you turn your phone off, Bob? I mean, yeah. Okay. What I mean by worthless is, worthless is too strong a word. It's impotent. We could all stand up together and we could all scream at the top of our lungs. Our election machines are connected to the internet, and we could be right, and nothing will happen. It's impotent. You have to show there's a negative consequence because of that. Once there's a negative consequence, not only do you have legal standing, but you can actually show that there's harm, and you have a reason. You have standing to complain, have standing to demand action. for example, the dirty voter rolls. If everybody was honest, so what if the dirty rolls are dirty? It doesn't look dirty. But the fact that people aren't honest and people are taking advantage of it, that's the problem there. So anyway, let's get back. So I told that story. Your machines are online, your clerks don't even know. Your clerks also don't even know how to do this. Why? Because they don't have their own copy of the voter rolls. It's not like they can say, oh, gee, 10 names were added this week and 10 names were removed. All they have is the current list because all they do is log into that list that's online. It's a living database. It's always in flux. They don't download snapshots that they compare week to week to find out who's being added and removed. It's just a constantly changing thing. Well, that's why we have 6 copies. Before we leave tonight, I have a fun thing to do together. I've been doing this all over the state. Did it a couple times this afternoon. I'm going to show you your own voter rolls right here in Washington County, and we're going to look up a couple of your addresses, and we're just going to look in your own neighborhood. It's in every network, every neighborhood, and even today, Bob, former city councilman, is next door neighbor, and was Jill is at your house and looked at. You're going to be shocked. I have yet to miss. Why is that? Because your rolls are so dirty. It's on every page, tons of it. 1 in 3, 1 in 4 of the people in your rolls don't belong there. It's preposterous, and yet you're mailing ballots to those people. So I guess I just want to say, stop being stupid. Stop using a dumb voter rolls. Start using a clean voter rolls, which you can prepare and you can use yourself. And you have legal standing now that the courts have proven that they're out of compliance. Why would you comply with a non-compliant system? Why don't you comply with state and federal law and actually use a clean voter rolls? Why wouldn't you do that? Especially, it's like with your situation with your pa. If the county said to the state, we're not going to mail a ballot to him, they're going to say, you have to, that's the law. Oh, you're going to force us to mail ballots to dead people? You see how irrational that is? There's no way
He has the
city's going to be able to
fucking
force that
great car
together and say,
and saying that
stupid
it's
voters.
mine that we went to church in.
We're going to clean up our own voter rolls and fix our own vote. That's what we're going to do. But that's I got more to go. All right. Let's I'm having fun and I just skipped right over all my introductory slides. But you already know who I am anyway. Let's just jump ahead. All right, let's look at Oregon. Okay. You having fun?
Yeah.
God made me with a big mouth. Even when I was in first grade, they sent me to vocal therapy because I was always talking too loud and they were afraid I was going to blow my vocal cords out. My whole life, I trained for opera for many years.
Oh shit! Damn, that was pretty good.
So
I'm shocked.
That was good.
I can talk for
Do
hours.
it again. Do it again.
All right, so let's just talk about your state for a minute because I want to set some context. It's so important that you understand what's wrong so that you'll understand what you need to do. If you know what's wrong, you know how to fix it. If you don't know what's wrong, how do you know what to do? All right, so I showed you this graph. In fact, I showed it to you last year, so it's kind of, we can pick up where we left off. This is from 1960 up to 2024. This top blue line is how many people are in the state of Oregon who are voting age or more, voting age. So remember I told you had 3 million people? You can see that right here, 3 million people, and your population should start declining. So it's just a little under 3 million people. Now, they are not all eligible to vote. That's how many 18 and older people you have. And some of those people are not citizens, some are felons in prison, they're not allowed to vote from prison, et cetera. Some people are incompetent, some people are in comas. But if 18...
A lot of incompetent people.
Like the governor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kotex.
Plato said the penalty for refusing to get involved in politics is you end up being governed by your inferiors.
Yeah.
So you have all not been involved in politics, and now you're being governed by an inferior person.
Right.
Any one of you.
That's right.
I don't even know you. You'd all be better governors than the one you got. She's like one of the least popular in the country.
Go for David Medina.
Crazy. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. Let's stay away from that. Too late. Okay. So 1960 to present, this blue curve is your voting age population. It's been flat for about 5 years. Now this black curve is how many people are considered to be active voters in the state of Oregon. Active voters. And you'll notice in 1960, it was about 70% of your voting age population. And I can tell you from my experience, I've been modeling elections for 40 years. My first election I modeled was 1980, and I predicted every election. Every presidential election I predicted until 2020. I even predicted Trump.
It got cheated.
17 months in advance when there were, 13 months in advance when there were 17 people in the primary. Remember that? There were 17 people in line, Ted, Cook, Hillary,
Cook and Hillary.
17, about 17 Republicans in the primary 13 months in advance, and I predicted Trump was going to be the winner. And it's the opposite.
Because he's the GOAT.
And like, how do you do that? That's a whole nother thing. When I get back, I'll give you a math lesson. I got all kinds of Fourier transforms and differential equations I used to model this stuff. It's fun, but that's a whole nother topic. Okay. So I can tell you from my experience that a clean voter rolls is about 70%.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a
Now you'll notice that in the 60s, your
mount for the 360 camera on my bike.
But your clerks clean them up. See that? They got dirty, but your clerks clean them up. Dirty again, but then your clerks clean them up. Very good. That's when your clerks still had local control of your rolls. But then in 2014, something big happened in your state. That's when your Secretary of State said the counties don't keep their own voter rolls anymore. We're going to keep them centrally up in the cloud. And at the same time, we're going to start adding everybody gets a driver's license. Everybody can touch any government agency. You register your cars. You get welfare. You go to jail. You can be a non-citizen and your kids go to school. You get put in. Any government agency you touch, puts you into the voter rolls automatically. That's when that happened. So then your voter rolls shot right up past your population. So that you had more people in your voter rolls than you even had people.
See his bow tie.
Right?
Yes.
Really, the blue line is the high line. Remember, it includes non-citizens even. It should be lower. And this is, of course, when we talked to the Judicial Watch and got them to sue you. Right? Because it's a pretty obvious open and shut case that you're not following the law. But I just want you to notice something while we're here. I don't want to talk too much about this today, but I want you to understand something. So the red curve is every 2 years, how many people voted in the general election. So presidential midterm. More people vote in presidential elections and midterms. So you can see that as well. I just want you to notice something. Here we are in the 1960s. If they hadn't inflated the voter rolls, you'd have 100% turnout there. If you hadn't inflated the voter rolls right here, you'd have 100% turnout right there. If you hadn't inflated the voter rolls right here, you'd have 200% turnouts right here.
That's crazy.
What is the Republican Party of Oregon telling you? Oh, we want you to go out there and work on getting them now to convert to Republicans. That's a total waste of time. I'll explain it to you in a little bit. Oh, the people don't believe in our elections anymore. The turnouts are way down. Wrong. You have more people voting now than ever before.
Yeah.
More people are voting than ever before. In fact, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You have too many ballots coming in.
Yeah, more than that.
But you don't know it. Why don't you know it?
Crazy.
Because they don't tell you the number of people. They tell you the percent of registered voters. And the number of registered voters has surged irrationally, making your turnout percentages look low. When actually you have more people voting than ever before. Interesting. So turnout isn't your problem, or maybe turnout is your problem, but it's not necessarily the turnout you want to have, right? And a lot of people say, "Oh, Dr. Frank, we're auditing the election. We're finding the fraud." Oh yeah, how are you doing it? We're going to do a recount.
I like this guy.
I always tell them, it doesn't matter how many times you count the cash in the register. You can count the cash over and over again. You can count the machines. You can count it standing on one leg. Doesn't matter. What matters is how many of the bills are counterfeit. Doesn't matter how many times you count all those extra ballots that are coming in. What matters is, are they the real ballots or the real voters or not? And when you're mailing 30% extra ballots, littering the pavement with these ballots, that's your problem. A lot of times people say, "Oh, Dr. Frank, the machines are flipping ballots." We have a few cases where we can prove that happened. But for example, think about that Michigan graph. You've all seen it. They call it the F graph. It goes up like this and then jumps at 11 o'clock and goes on. Think about that. A jump, that's not flipping ballots. That's adding ballots. Right? So everyone wants to think that the machines are flipping. No, they just added more voters. And in the Michigan case, they added 156,000 new voters to the rolls and cast 156 ballots, all in less than a minute at 11 o'clock at night. We proved that in court. We even have videotape of them backing the truck up to the building with 156,000 ballots on a pallet. The radio stations were making fun of it. They were singing songs, ballots, ballots, all this stuff. So why is nobody in jail yet? Why is nobody in jail yet? Who said that? We're in Michigan. Yeah, look at these states. Nobody's in jail because you're not awake. And you're waiting for somebody else to put them in jail. Now, we did put somebody in jail a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you noticed, Lodi, California. But I want to tell you, my team in San Joaquin, I'd say they're riding with you guys, one of the better teams in the country I've been working with.
San Joaquin, that's where I'm from. San Joaquin.
City Council and stuff about us. We caught him with 70 ballots on this kitchen tape.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
I mean, it's an open shut case, right? We got a conviction 3 years ago, like 40 felony convictions. We have them on. They didn't sentence him until 2 weeks ago, or like a month ago. I mean, it took 3 years to sentence him. Waited for his term. Wait for his term. The point is, there is zero incentive in our legislatures. Sorry, there's zero incentive there. There's zero incentive in your legal system to prosecute election fraud. Almost zero. Almost nobody wants to do it. Look what happens to Sidney Powell. Look what happens to John Eastman. Anybody who prosecutes gets.
They say it's not even happening.
I can show you state after state legislators that invited me in to do audits of their state elections for them and get formal testimony for their legislatures. Whoever did that, they're out now because guess who got rid of them? The Republican Party. Yeah. Republican Party is our biggest opposition. People want it. You're in Oregon, so you think it's the Democrats that are these evil, bad people. Well, yeah, but they have 105% of their people registered too. And John Adams is the Secretary of State there, and he's running 6 neighboring states elections. All red states, all dirty voter rolls, all central control of their elections. It doesn't matter whether it's red or blue. What matters is who's ever in control, likes staying in control. That's why they like it this way. Like nobody's going to jail. That's why there's no meaningful reform, because the people in control of the legal system, the people in control of our laws are in on it. They like it this way. They're complicit. They like the system this way. All right, so you all understand this graph? It's on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Easily that way.
Reality or
So now, remember I told you I go to these counties on the other side of the state, and they're like, "What are you doing here? Everything's fine." Because they think because they have honest people that they have good elections. That's just wrong. Let me show you. So, but this is from 1980 up to present. How many people every 2 years the state says are active voters in every county? So this is how many people are registered in every county, all 36 severe counties, every 2 years. And Multnoma's big, and the other ones, you're probably here, Washington, here and here, and the small counties. So it's hard to see all the counties, yes? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them all on the same scale. I'm going to put them on a percent scale, so you can see the shape of every county. And what you'll notice is in the 80s, it used to be random how many people were in the voter rolls in every county. But as soon as the state took over in 2014, every one of them took off. She says, I love that little sound.
That's crazy, obvious.
Yeah, the light bulb just went on. In other words, every county, there are no exceptions. Every county is centrally controlled. Yet the small counties think, oh no, we're good. We have good people. No, it's centrally controlled. It doesn't matter where you are. Oh, and Dr. Frank, we only had a couple of hundred cases of fraud in our small county. That doesn't matter. Yeah, but as a percentage, do that percentage in every county in the state. Oh, yeah. Now you can control every election in the state. It's the same every. It's all centrally controlled. You follow me on this graph now? Yeah. Isn't that cool graph? I'm going to show it tomorrow to the.
That's insane.
Okay, now I showed you the whole state. Let's show you Washington County.
Blatantly obvious wrong. Blatantly obvious wrong.
Looks like he's doing great. Now you're flat. Now you're shrinking. Right? You've been waning. We looked it up this afternoon.
This is why they don't want voter ID.
Starting to wane. People are exiting out here to get out.
More ways to commit fraud.
Yeah.
Mhm.
they're moving up. Yeah. By the way, I tell them don't do that. I just came from Idaho. You should see Idaho voter rolls. You should see their situation. If they're in a worse situation, you at least know you have a problem, right? They don't even know they have a problem. I was just in Coeur d'Alene 2 weeks ago, big Saturday presentation showing them, and they're like, caught like deer in the headlights. Oh no, I know that, Frank. We're not Oregon. Yes, you are. You just didn't know it. So they're way behind. So down there, they're frantically calling me. I'm getting out there to get some teams going there as well. It doesn't matter where you go. There's no escape it. You can't hide. And it's like I said, every state in the country, same problem. So here you guys, Washington County, you're starting to shrink. Notice that your voter rolls were pretty clean. Most of your career, well done. And when the state took over, what happened? That's when they surged up. Yes. Notice how if I bring the population line down next to the, you can see.
That's crazy.
Does that make it obvious what's happening to you? Does that make it obvious what's happening to you? Your voter rolls have surged, and now you have all these extra ballots coming in that aren't supposed to be coming in. Yeah. See,
Right.
does that make it pretty obvious? If
Yeah.
I show you the percentage, you have about 30% too many people in your voter rolls, about
That's
9,000 more
30%.
in the population trend. That's not because you have a bad clerk. That's because the clerk is just using the state system.
Yeah.
Who in the state is doing this? So your Secretary of State, what's his name? Reed? He's not sitting there going, frantically adding people. The state doesn't do anything, right? Governments don't do anything. They
That's pretty true.
right? So they pay an organization, notice the ERIC, Election Registration Information Center, to take your voter rolls.
They hire sloths.
They hire sloths. They hire sloths. That's funny. It comes from government. Okay. So they give the voter rolls to this organization, ERIC, but they also give all your driver's license information. They also give all your social security information and your health and human services information. They give all this information to an outside agency, which you can't FOIA. It's a non-government organization. And they collect that information from about 30 other states as well. And they compare. And so then they come back periodically, I don't know, maybe every month, and they say to the Secretary of State, gee, we compared your rolls with the rolls in Texas, and we noticed that a whole bunch of people in your state moved to Texas. We think you ought to take those people out of your rolls and give them a list. Then they also say, by the way, we noticed a whole bunch of people who moved into your state as well from other states. Here's that list. We think you ought to add those people. These are not people who registered to vote. These are people who the state is about to register to vote. And what happened is in 2014, like I showed you on the graph, that's the year your state decided we're going to control the rolls and we're going to start injecting people into the rolls.
Bullshit.
And so what's been happening is by policy decision, not by law, by policy decision, your secretary's been saying, yes, let's accept all of the new additions and let's not remove all the recommended removals, which is why your voter rolls shot and got dirty so fast. Did I answer your question? Oh, there's a lot more, but yeah. Yes. Okay. But that's the basic. Yes. Who's doing it? That's who's doing it. It's a policy decision by your state. They've decided.
He's not running for nothing.
So I guess which elected officials are responsible for those? Secretary of State. Secretary of State's responsible. That's a drum. We should be beating a lot more.
Right.
Yeah. So what happens if you beat the drum? I agree. You're saying we should be beating that drum. But if you go scream and yell at it, it's going to happen. And I can't tell you how many states I've met great grassroots teams all around the country. They do great canvassing. They find all these problems. They say, Dr. Frank, we did this huge report. Here's a copy, 60 pages. We took it to the Secretary of State. Nothing happened. Right. If you're waiting for the Secretary of State to fix the system he likes,
No, I'm talking about hanging the responsibility around their neck. I'm not talking about asking them to ask it.
okay, I'm going to, that you mean like tarred feathers?
And pitchforks and torches and pitchforks. The populace understands what's going on.
Yeah.
It needs to be understood.
Boom. And that's the point. That's the point I'm making to you tonight. Most people don't understand this is happening.
Yeah.
Clerks don't even understand this is happening. I have to show them. And what'll happen is a year ago, I testified for my 5 minutes before your little, I testified, that's a funny word. I spoke to your commissioners, and afterwards, one of them, and he talked to 2 weeks ago or a week ago, and he said, oh, I heard Dr. Frank, and I went to his presentation, and I went and talked to our clerk, and I investigated all this, and it's all, it's not, none of
I
it
see
adds up.
you. I rock. We love you guys. Tell Josh I said I love him.
It's baseless. It was all baseless. Yeah, except that a year later, it's been ruled in court that I was dead on. Okay, isn't that nice? Okay. So, but I'm baseless, right? Okay, and I'm showing you actual evidence. I'm showing you your own data. I'm gonna have fun showing you your own neighborhoods in just a minute. Okay, the point is, they don't even know. Your clerk that thinks everything's okay. Because what they think is if they follow the checklist, if they do what they're taught, if they run the machines the way they're taught, everything will be okay. And it's easiest for them that way too. It's the least amount of work for them that way too. If they just let everything go automatically. But what did I just say? That turns them into dumb terminals. They're not really doing anything. And if they look too closely, they might find something that they don't want to see. So it's easier for them if they just, I just have to tell you one story. I'll say the Missouri, Show Me State. And I remember the name of the county, but it's near her face and her deputy. Right. I remember sitting in her office. And I was with one of my team members, and we were sitting there in her office. And I was describing the fraud in her county. And she looked at me with these really kind of squinty eyes. Oh, I have to tell you another story too. She looked at me squinty eyes. She says, I know they're kicked out, Frank. I know. I've been doing this for years. There's too many ballots coming in. She says, I can't figure out how they're doing it. I've turned off all the automatic features in all the machines. I've turned off everything I can turn off. She says, I even keep records. And she brought out literally stacks of notebooks where she's handwritten, kept track of everything. She says, I just can't figure out how they're doing this, but I know they're doing it. And so I showed her how, and then she you could see the blood drain from her face. And she says, okay, Dr. Frank, it's not that I'm not going to be able to do this. Why is that? She says, because I have 29 years of service. Next year I'm retiring, and I don't want to put my retirement at risk. So I looked at her deputy clerk right there, and she looked at me, and the blood drained from her face. She says, I don't want to be Tina Peters. She said to me, and so this is the problem. Your clerks not only are staying in line, they're afraid to step out of line. And so there's a lot of dynamic in that. Yes, sir.
So, with respect to what you just said, and in Michigan, there was a court case very similar to the Tina Peters case that was just decided where in Michigan, a county clerk refused to delete their system data and was, I guess, sued, or maybe even it was in criminal. And she finally won that case. So can you, I know you know a lot about that. Can you talk just a little bit about that? And will that give us more visibility to really?
So during the 20 to 24, 2020 to 2024 region, it was really dangerous to do anything like this. There were for about 3 months there in 2021, there was a subpoena in my house almost every day. Somewhere in the country I was getting sued. It's lawfare against us. Mr. Lindell, for example, started out when I first met him in March of 2021. He told me he had $30 million liquid he was going to spend on election integrity. Now he's 40 million in the hole. Yeah. Personally. Okay, he's basically spent everything. How did that happen? Lawfare. They're just suing the heck out of him. So during that period of time, we were all under attack, literally under attack. It was warfare. But now we're in a different situation, right? We've got air power. We've got protection coming down. In fact, this is and I'm answering your question kind of in a roundabout way, but I think I'm addressing it. We have lawsuits going all over the country right now that are getting airtime because we don't have to hide, if that makes sense. I mean, why do you think they find
going on with the
Shakir Khan, the same photo.
Why they finally put him in jail? Because we brought attention to the fact that they weren't prosecuting, and we got to let Mr. Trump know, and there were certain phone calls, and there you go. Now they put him in prison. So anyway, this is him last year in August. He says, Dr. Trump says, I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots.
Yes.
Okay, that puts you guys straight in the crosshairs, right? Now you notice he didn't say I'm going to sign an executive order. He said I'm going to lead a movement because he can't sign an executive order. It won't hold up to the Constitution. It'll get thrown out. I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots, and also I read it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and sort of controversial voting machines.
Yes.
So on and on. Here we go. Right? And what's sort of fun about this tweet is he put it out a couple of days after Mike and I gave him some verbiage, and a lot of that is in there. It's pretty cool. But the most important thing, which I like to take credit for, but I don't have to, he said I'm going to lead a movement. Okay.
Look at that handsome stud.
Do you now understand what your role is?
Yeah.
You are the movement. He cannot do it by himself.
No.
He can't just sign an executive order and make everything better. If you're waiting for that, you've been conditioned into un-American. America is a nation. It's an experiment in self-government. Each of us.
I'm gonna go take a piss. We'll pick up.
Each of us.
My phone's gonna be right here.
Constitution, and we've forgotten that. You have to remember that politicians don't start parades; they join them. We have to start the movement. We join the parade, and that's what you guys. This is why I'm so excited to be in Oregon, because you guys are perfect for this. We've got the lawsuits now under your belt. You've got the crappy blur rules. You've got all this fraud happening because you have the worst system, probably the worst elections in your country. You can be proud. Okay. But because it's so bad, you're more awake. And so you're going to do something about it. And as you do something, as you step out and stand out, then we're going to have support from that level. Now, I'm not saying you're going to do lawsuits. The court system is still very corrupt. It's almost a waste of time to do lawsuits. But you don't need a lawsuit. We already got them done. We already got it proved in court that your voter rolls are illegal. We already got it proved in court your systems are illegal. So stop using them. You just need the will, and you just need the organization. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to organize you and make it happen. Yeah, kind of, young man.
Yeah, thank you. I think the Tina Peters case in Colorado.
Yeah.
Is such a lightning rod, and I don't understand why it's not a civil rights situation.
It is a civil rights issue.
And so if she's freed and her tongue is freed, that will inform the public as well as kind of calm down the fear. You mentioned that a lot of clerks may sense or feel.
I have every state I've been in, I hear her name. Every clerk says, I don't want to be Tina Peters. They did horrible things to her. They didn't just put her in jail. I can talk to you for hours about the things they did to her. It's a bad situation. Trump's already pardoned her, but she's not out because it was a state of the state's control. And the state's control, and Trump's putting all kinds of pressure on the state. He took Space Force out of Colorado and put it in Huntsville. That's one thing. He's taken away their funding for their largest federal development construction grant. Yeah.
He needs to do a Venezuela.
He needs to do it in Venezuela. Some guys and I the other night were having a beer after one of the events, and that's what I said too. We're on the same page. And I think if you pull off one of these events carefully and brilliantly planned, like our men are capable, our men and women in the military capable, I think we could probably get in and out of there before they can let it. And absolutely, and you're dealing, no insult, but you're dealing with prison guards. You're not dealing with, paramilitary top of the line operatives, right? Prison guards don't have that kind of training, and you had a donuts in their coffee, and that's pretty good.
You cut this part out of the video?
Well, it's already public,
Yeah.
It's already been discussed openly, and Trump, he's just pretty busy with the random. He's doing lots of stuff. I want to come back to that too. Go ahead.
She's a potential federal witness.
That's the example. So I was just on the phone with Tickton the other day, 2 hours. He's the attorney that Trump is assigned. The reason I'm involved is because I'm the guy who set it up. I'm the guy who did that in April 2021, set up the thing. There's nobody who knows more about the Tina Peters situation than me. Yet I wasn't allowed to testify in her trial. And I have exculpatory evidence that could have, so the number one reason to take her out is it should be a mistrial because she was denied the ability to put in her exculpatory evidence, which is enough for a mistrial. But Tickton is trying, the DOJ has launched a lawsuit against the state of Colorado based upon lawfare of Tina Peters. That's now going to be a federal civil rights lawsuit. Now it's federal jurisdiction. Now she can be a federal whistleblower, and they've been trying that for months already, and it's not. I mean, they started that back in June or July last year. It's just not. It's not. They're not doing so hot in that category. So I agree. Let's do Venezuela on it. Yes, sir.
Suppose that we are able to have amazing turnover in our county leadership. We are actually able to have someone in position to transition to a county controlled voter roll. Is there anything, Eric contracts or proprietary agreements that prevent us from using the voter roll data as a starting point?
No.
So
You want me to give it to you? You'll have a starting point today. Okay. And in fact, you just told me you got the ones from May.
May 1st?
May 1st. So we've got the voter rolls. You have to start from there. Do you guys know what a PCP is? A precinct count?
Yeah.
What's the job of a PCP? Anybody know? Most PCPs look at you and they go, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, Dr. Frank. You know what? That's because their number one job was to clean the voter rolls from their precinct.
Yeah.
But they have been conditioned out of that over the decades to the point now where they don't even know what their job is. So what we would do in your case is we would give you a copy of voter rolls. You'd have one volunteer in every precinct.
I'm back.
You give everybody a copy of the voter rolls for their precinct. You run against the NCOA against it. People who move away, post office record, national change of address registry. A couple of simple things we can run against it. Take about 20% off without even trying. Couple of weekends work, knock on a few doors, you'd have complete voter rolls that you could use locally. It's not a big job, and you'd be done. A month from now, your county would have clean voter rolls for your election. But instead, your Secretary of State delayed cleaning the voter rolls until when? Until he mailed out.
Yeah, I just came across this quote the other day. It was from Joseph Stalin. He said, "There's enough that the people know there was an election." Oh, they did? Okay. So I guess the question, and you just answered it, is how do we get back to where we don't have the Democratic supermajority at the state level counting the votes, and we get back to the people counting the votes in the individual
So
precincts?
when he said Democrat, I immediately react to that. It has nothing to do with the Democrats. It's the Republicans as well. It's both. It doesn't matter whether, remember Hillary complained about it for 4 years, right? Remember Russia. You can have everything right. You can still, remember her talk. It's not a Republican Democrat issue. It's whoever's in control, keep in control. And we have to take it back local. So how do we take it back local? That's my question to you, right?
Start the biggest counties, Multnomah, Washington, and Clackamas.
Starting with the smallest county. Everybody thinks
I'm always-
top down.
I'm always wrong.
The small counties are the easiest to flip. The smallest counties. Now that's just
A lot of knowledge. Yeah, he's smart.
But the small counties, 13 out of 15 of them already said they want to quit Oregon and join Idaho.
Yeah.
It's easy to get them organized. Can you imagine if 13 counties all said tomorrow, we're not going to use the state system anymore? Can you imagine the earthquake of that? Yes, ma'am. I see you in the back.
Don't want to get rid of
So you say we can create voter rolls by doing our job as PCPs.
Yeah.
But then how do we get the state to let?
Wait a minute. How do we get the state to let us what?
Implement it.
Why are you asking the state to implement it? You implement it. Yes.
Yeah.
You need me to explain what that means.
We don't have experience. That's
Yeah.
why
You're the professional.
Yeah. You remember her. Earn your pay.
So, just going through my slides, I just jumped around so much, I'm not sure if I told you everything. But I think I hit enough, but the answer is, I call it the 7 steps, okay? And the problem with most election reform work in the country is people are individuals doing something. And I always make the analogy, we are at war. This is 5th generation war against our country. General Flynn's been talking about it for decades. We've just all been asleep and not listening. So what happens is we have to act like we're at war. We have to behave like we're at war, or we're going to lose to our enemy, who is behaving in a warlike fashion. They're well organized. They're well funded. They are acting in.
Just because you use capitals don't mean you're right.
Taking over our country one step at a time. So as long as it's just this beautiful team over here, which I love, we have a great team here in your county. As long as that's all who's doing it, we're going to lose. You know, I always joke about it. If Canada invaded us tomorrow, what would you all do? So people say we'd laugh, but
Yeah, that'd be funny. With no guns?
what would we do? A lot of us would run and grab our ARs, and we grab our weapons, and we run out there. But that's the wrong response, actually. The right response, if Canada invaded us today, is for all of us to show up here, bring our weapons here, lay the maps out, secure our perimeter, plan a strategy, and implement a strategy. Find other counties that are doing the same thing. Anybody's been in the military knows them, right? And we would drive those buggers back across the border. That's what we would do. But if we are working alone, we lose. So stop working alone. I've got to show you something. So all right, I got three friends.
I'm gonna taste this. I'm gonna post it.
So you gotta get connected first if you
Yeah,
sign
I was
up.
thinking the same thing.
Make sure you get connected because the team here needs your help and we'll get you connected in. That's the first step. Second step is to get organized. We already got that. We got a small, I'm just gonna read it because I have to brag them. Small local team of selfless. You're doing a surrender.
Oh, I made it a fortune.
Dr. Frank, you're a grifter. Now, I've been charged unpaying for any things I've done across the whole country in 5 years. I told my wife, my beautiful wife, 43 years, 44 next month, said, I'm gonna set my income aside for 6 months. We're gonna save the country and then I'll be back to work. It's a good thing we don't have a mortgage and that she has a job. Or I'd have to charge. I couldn't afford to do this. But
I'm not working off my community service, you fucking genius. I'm doing that somewhere else. It doesn't have anything to do with the homeless.
So we are serving our country. That's what, so selfless, like-minded patriots who believe strongly in the team objectives. Our objective is local control of our elections. That is our objective, local control of our elections. By the way, if you say get rid of machines, that's not the right objective. Local control of our elections. You want to use machines at that point? Fine, it's up to you. Because you can open the back then. You can look in, you can do anything you want. You can use M&Ms for your elections, as far as I'm concerned. As long as it's auditable and transparent, and everybody can trust it. So you can do whatever you want. So local control. You need at least 7 core people, which we have. And we put together a team. So you guys all got a copy of this. I don't need to. That team is functioning well. We've come up with a strategy. We've made a strategy that fits your county, and we have implemented that strategy for a couple of years now. Very successfully, by the way. We are ready to.
I haven't even started my community service yet, you dumbass. I have a whole year to do it.
What time is the commissioner meeting?
Got a troll in there.
10:30.
So stupid.
Everybody, we need bodies. We need bodies. You don't have to say anything, do anything, just show up and be a body.
He thinks by us going out and
We need
asking
bodies
to the
just
homeless, it's my community service.
and we're
I have to do it with the
It's a completely different
Yeah.
thing.
I have to do it with a nonprofit organization, and we go out there as ourselves to pass out food.
We need to know we're for real.
Yeah.
Now, let me caution you there.
Thank you, Carter.
Don't make the mistake of violating their space. Because if you violate their space, they'll take away your space. There's a famous movie, Clemens, Professor Clemens, you've seen it, Let the People Go.
Yes.
There's a scene in there where he took the mic, that was in Bakersfield, Kirk County, in California. He took a mic and he wouldn't relinquish it, and people were mobbing the mic. I relinquished my 3 minutes. I relinquished my. And then the moderator of the commissioners was saying, "No, that's not how it works. You get 3 minutes, walk away." Well, because they did that, now those people are no longer.
I am not an on. I am not a non-profit organization.
So yes,
It doesn't even make sense, bro.
don't.
He said I'm a
non-profit
organization.
They all need to swim in that pool. Okay.
Yeah, you also drive the Jetson vehicle.
Yeah.
We need to keep that water.
You're part of Trump's team.
Yeah.
Actually, in the
From the
end,
White House, directly Secret Service.
Secret Service.
Yeah.
want to save money. Like you mentioned, maybe.
You don't know you're a fed?
Here.
Tom, he's your friend.
I'm a fan.
That's right. Jenny's here, right?
Yeah, vote for Jenny.
Oh, Jenny. Where's Jenny?
Oh, for Jenny.
Go Jenny.
All right. So I'm having fun, but you get the idea. So there's a plan which we got ready, but we're in this mode right now. Step 5, where we're building the movement. Let me just read it to you. Success in this effort begins with unassailable evidence of local fraud obtained by your team. Have we got some unassailable evidence?
Yes, we do.
Okay. We've been holding back because we were waiting for some of the other counties to catch up, but we're holding back no longer. Okay. Just last week, was it? You talked about a certain address.
Oh, yes, just last week.
And
It was a non-existent ad.
a non-existent address with how many registrants at it?
Well, and this voter roll, there's 417.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And so the county, your county executive, she was running the head moderator. She said, "Well, can you give me that address?" And Mary said, "No."
No,
Okay.
no, Mary said,
And Mary said, "Maybe." Okay.
she really meant no.
You've been holding back. How many dead voters do you have now?
Oh, I can't remember.
Okay, these are people who are dead, but they voted.
Wow.
Okay, we already have lots of people who have passed away and are still in the rolls.
That's what I'm saying.
Lots of that stuff. All of that evidence is about to come out, and they're going to be every week reading more into the public record actual cases of fraud, okay, which implicate not your clerk. It's not your clerk that's the problem. It's the system that the clerk is using that's being imposed upon you by the state. Our remedy is not to complain at the clerk. Our remedy is to tell the clerk, you can't use the state system anymore because when you're using it, you're violating our constitutional rights. You're disenfranchising us because every one of these fraudulent ballots is nullifying one of our real ballots. Okay, that's the strategy. And so, and if he refuses to comply, yes, then you get let out. You replace it, recall him. We got the clerk out of Shasta County. I should show you that. This is just too good a news.
We need him.
How'd you do that?
Yeah, I was gonna
We
say.
can vote.
How did we get
we
the
need
clerk
more
out?
of that.
Oh, that's a fun story. Oh, that's a fun story. I'll tell you how. So, so in Shasta County, 75,000 voters. We had one commissioner on our side, and that was it. We met with him in private, showed him the evidence. He was like overwhelmed. He's like, "Wow, this is real. This is a problem." And so I started presenting for the.
I'm not
just
a
started
organization.
Invited me back for a full 30-minute presentation. Then we had 2 out of their 5 supervisors on our side, 3 against. Okay, and also the county clerk against. So we were trying to win over the clerk, but then we quickly learned she was actually subverting all of our work at the Secretary of State. So we decided we were going to get rid of her. Her name is Kathy Darling Allen. And I had just finished reading Rules for Radicals by Alinsky.
Oh, wow.
And they have all these rules, and one of the rules is ridicule. Ridicule is a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
Remember, Trump is a master of ridicule. I am Ted, Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe. Ridicule, he's good at it. And so I was about to get on a radio program in Shasta County, and I was sitting there waiting outside the room where the radio interview was going to be. And I was just read Rules for Radicals. I was thinking, how can I ridicule Kathy Darling Allen? Kathy Darling, Kathy Darling, Shasta County ROB. built a fence to keep transparency in elections history. Okay, she had built a fence around the building to keep people out. And I wrote 4 stanzas.
Oh, my God.
And I walked into the radio. Calling, I had kind of a goofy grin on my face. And they said, "What's so funny?" I said, "I just wrote a song about Kathy Darling Allen. I sang it on the radio." By the end of that week, everybody in town was calling her Clementine. Ridicule works, and we started picketing at her house. Picketing at her- She goes, "You know, if you're a public
Yeah.
official, you don't have the right of privacy. Did you know that? When you're
Nope.
public, you
Yep.
don't. You can
Absolutely
call your
not.
public officials in the grocery store. You can picket them when they're at their offices. You have that right. So
First
we
Amendment.
did.
We
started
need to do
First
more of
Amendment.
that.
Yeah.
We just made her life heck.
Yeah.
And so she went out on medical leave for anxiety and depression.
God damn.
And when she went out, I mean, it seems to me, but it's war. Okay, it's war. We're at war. We have to fight it like it's war. If we keep, playing with tiddlywinks, they're gonna nuke us. Okay, we gotta fight fire with fire here. We need to fight. So anyway, we got her to quit, and we at that point we had 3. That's a whole long story. I don't want to get into it, but we actually then we got 2 of the commissioners to quit too. Same kind of strategies. We boycotted one of their businesses. I mean, we engaged warfare. And we got a 3-2 majority. January of 2023, they voted out the machines. March of 2023, they voted out the poll books. I mean, it was awesome. We were just smoking in Chester County. But anyways, what happened is we eventually got Dick Curtis in there. It was going to be Tina Peters, but she's president, so she couldn't be the clerk. He's the guy, if you remember, who testified before Congress in 2004. I think I've got it here. Yeah, he testified
Saying,
before
I know
Congress.
where we gotta
He's the
go.
one who wrote the software
Yeah.
for the Republican election in 2004.
Find out where they are.
Odie, thank you, bro.
Office. I thought it was just the Democrats that did it. Huh. So he's a machine guy. He's a programmer, but he's now an anti-machine guy because he knows how bad they are. So we got him, and he's down. And I just have to show you the way the elections used to be a spiked fence around the building. Now this is what their election facility looks like. They, like you, all the ballots are mailed. And what happens is this is all open. The picture doesn't capture that, but like on this side of the wall, it's all open. And you can just walk back over here, just back where they received the ballots. And let's say you as a citizen want to know how they're receiving the ballots. You just walk right in, walk right out. Hey, what are you doing there? How's that going? What's that signature mean? Does that say? You can participate in the entire.
Wow.
That would be fun.
You are welcome
Yeah,
as a
we need-
community member to witness every part of the process. So back.
We need to
here,
find
this
out
part
where
of
it's
it,
at in
election.
Yeah.
So you can see everything all the time. Everything's under camera. Everything's being streamed online. Every citizen can watch at home what's happening with the ballots. And so they're sorted into batches of 50. Then this is the cool part. This is so cool. So what happens is there are cameras above these stations, and this is like the station.
I don't know.
There's a tabulator right here. There's a double tray here and a double tray here. So what happens is a citizen, not an official, a citizen.
Oh, this
walks
isn't.
back here,
This doesn't happen.
gets
in
50
Portland.
ballots,
No.
walks back down.
Ours are all
sits in the chair.
available.
You see the
Oh,
benches?
that's
Those are where people can sit and watch.
That's what we need.
You're welcome in there. They have so many volunteers. They have to have this overflow area
Wow.
for people to watch.
Wow.
You notice how the Republican Party is always asking for volunteers for poll workers.
Right.
Yeah, but you get to watch from.
Yeah.
It's like sticking needles in your eyes. What good is that? It's like, and so the clerks will say, "Oh, we can't even get volunteers to do poll watchers." Well, yeah, who wants to stick needles in your eyes all day? Nobody wants to do that. So, but this, you can't. We don't have room for all the people. People want to participate. You just have to give them a way to meaningfully participate. So what happens? The citizen comes back here, grabs 50 ballots, walks over here, sits down in his chair, puts the 50 ballots in the tray.
Okay.
This is so cool because this is all being filmed and streamed online, so every citizen can watch. And then one at a time, he turns over every ballot, so everybody at home can see both sides of every ballot.
That's what we need.
So at home, you can be keeping your own tally if you want. You can track it, right? And then, it's the wire. I forgot. Okay. So after he's turned over every ballot, which is now streamed online and everybody's been able to see it, the official, because the law says that only officials can use the machines, takes that stack of 50 ballots and puts it through the tabulator. And on the top, there's a little LCD display that shows you the counts and everything. So that's all being recorded in real time too. So there's 50 ballots go through there. And then when they're done, he sets them in this tray. Then another citizen, not an official, takes every ballot and turns it over again under the cameras. Why would we show the ballots before and after the machines?
Yeah.
Because the machines are also printers. And the machines can change the ballots. Can you believe you're using, you guys,
Printers?
machines that can actually print on the ballot?
That's
Kind of a
weird.
stupid system.
Yeah.
I know.
Agreed.
But-
Where's this at?
Well, I'm on it since I.
Okay, you hear me.
since I got to see inside your system.
Shasta County, California?
Lawsuit. So
Okay.
I signed an NDA and I
Yeah.
got to see everything in your election system, and I mean, everything. Your ballots are not anonymous in this county. Did you know that?
Yes.
I can know how every one of you voted on every race. And you would say, how do you do that, Dr. Frank? Did you notice your ballots have a little QR code on it?
Yeah.
That QR code tells me your name and address.
Wow.
We asked the gal in court, are your ballots anonymous? And she said, oh, yes, they're anonymous. Well, what about this little QR code? Well, that QR code tells the printer which ballot style to print and where to send that ballot, how to address it. Well, wait a minute, but that gives away the name and address of the person. Yes, it does. Well, then it's not enough.
Of course.
Because the printer will know every ballot. Yeah, but the ballot isn't voted.
Shout out to Ice, man. We love you, bro.
Yeah, but the ballot images later. Because every one of those ballots got scanned to the machine. Anybody who has the ballot images and has the code that can connect it, I can tell you how everybody voted. You're not anonymous in the state. By the way, just so you wanted to know. That's off the top.
Crazy.
So a citizen flips every ballot over, and then the county official puts them in the envelope, and writes the official total, and they just keep doing that. By the way, because they have citizens telling me they've doubled their speed of processing the elections, because it used to be every official had to go back and do all the sorting of it. Now it's just the machines are constantly running over. As soon as the polls close, everything runs so clean and fast. The first year, Shasta County saved $250,000 on their election here, and they ran this way in 2024 for the general election. And I've been doing this all around the country, monitoring, numbers. And when I sit down with clerks and try to convince them that they're not in control of their elections, I always ask them at the end of the day, at the end of the election, what do you do? Oh, Dr. Frank, I do all my checklists. Then I take that stick and I go over to the EMS, the election management system, and I plug that stick in, dumb terminal. And then what happens then? Oh, I rush home, turn the TV on because I want to see how the election's going to turn out. And I always ask them, do you ever go online to the Secretary of State website and check the numbers that are there to see if they match the numbers you turned in? Not one time. Entire country has a clerk ever said, oh yeah, I do that. Not once. So when I'm sitting with the clerk, I'll say, well, let's just check. And I read the computer up. You've done this. And you look it up. And their jaws fall open. Wait a minute. Those aren't my numbers. Yeah. No, they're not. The clerks don't even get this. They don't understand that they're not in control. They're not in control of the rolls. They're not in control of the process, the counting process, because they turn in. They're not in control of the reporting. They're dumb terminals, and they don't even realize that. We have to change that. We have to put back local. Anyway, that's what it looks like to have local control. That's pretty cool. Trump's been, he's about to announce this as an additional security feature we can add to elections all around the country. Yes, somebody got the hand. Yes, sir.
I'd be real curious how much more popular Trump was in Shasta County in 24 than 2020. I bet a big jump.
It's about 3-1 MAGA there.
Wow.
Shasta, yeah, very conservative.
But I bet 2020 gets better people.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, I don't know. I have to go back and check. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Curious.
fun.
The difference.
Okay, so there's so much I could talk about. Let me hit, before I want to show you, how am I doing on time? I'm doing okay. I want to save at least 10 minutes to show you on voter rolls and have you look up a couple so you can see how bad it is. I just want to wrap up some things here.
Doug, you're fucking hilarious.
I want to tell you what I really think is going to happen to our country in 2026 and the midterms. And
Well, this name marker.
I don't know if you've noticed that Trump is almost every week announcing.
They're going in on Will.
I know, me too.
You notice that? There's a
In my
reason for
chat,
that.
too, they are
He's
crazy.
laying the groundwork for what he's about to do. And if you look at his executive orders from 2018, he signed 2 executive orders. One of them was to look into the 2016
Climbing the beat.
and he put Pence in charge of that committee, and Pence after, yes, there. You know those executive orders? Yeah. To put Pence in charge of investigation, and 6 months later,
And
he
he's watching
disbanded the
right
committee.
now.
The senior folks must have that's when we knew that Pence was not on our side, and that's when Trump started Space Force, because that allows us to monitor the elections. Okay. So then in 2018, he signed it to the second executive order on elections, number 83, gives the executive branch the authority to nullify an election with foreign interference.
Yes.
Okay. Which is why you'll notice last year, Kash Patel announced, this was in June, that outside of Detroit in 2020, in October, right before the election, the FBI seized 1 million fake driver's licenses and 1 million fake
That really is, Doug.
driver's licenses,
It's terrible.
all made in China.
Wow.
Now, that is just one example of many that we have. And those of us working on the inside of December 2020 were expecting Trump to nullify the 2020 election. Because we had all of the evidence we need of foreign interference. We had the communication recordings, we had and it wasn't me, but there were several people that were really mad at him that he did nullify the election. I was never mad at him. I trusted him. I think he's got his heart in the right place. If there's anything Trump wants, you know, I've been with him a few times, been with him at Mar-a-Lago and up at this golf course, Bedminster, with his hair is all crazy, but just came off the golf course. And you know, spoken at a couple of his rallies. So I know him pretty well. And I just have to tell you, his number one goal in life is he wants to lie in his deathbed and say, I saved the country and then die. That's what he wants. He wants that more than anything. He's not gonna let the country go down.
He wants to be on Mount Rushmore.
He wants to be on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is that side of it.
Mount Rushmore?
You know, that's my kind of narcissist, you know? The guy that
Dr.
wants to say,
Douglas Frank.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember what happened in 2018? We lost the midterms, and what's the first thing the House did? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, and then we had that whole circus. Do you think he's gonna let that happen again? The first time he didn't cancel it because there wasn't one legislature in the country that would nullify. I was working with a couple of the legislatures trying to get Pennsylvania and Florida in particular, trying to get one of them to say, yeah, we're gonna decertify our election. And then Trump was gonna nullify the election. He didn't want to be the only person in the country nullifying the election. And the people were all standing around, what just happened to us? We didn't know, right? Okay, but we're not that way anymore, are we? We're awake. We're awake and we know what we're doing. We got teams like this all over the country. We're ready now. We're ready. We're gonna do some stuff with this midterm. This primary, big time with your county. Get ready.
Okay, I got a Game Boy.
That's okay.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Oregon mails ballots to 16-year-olds and to illegal aliens.
Yep.
How much does that negatively affect our election here in the state of Oregon? And what can we do about it?
That's what. I'll show you. What's that?
I
I'm
was,
not ignoring you. I'll come back.
you were talking about the upcoming primary. One of the things that I've been seeing on social media is hold onto your ballot until the very last day and
Do
don't
not vote early.
do not vote early.
If you vote early, you give away everything.
Yeah.
Do not vote early.
Remember, all the tallies are available. You're telling
Right.
everybody how many ballots they need to stuff
That's-
and you stuff. And when
wow.
you turn in your ballot, don't turn it in by mail. Deliver it in by hand. And when you turn it in, say, check and see if you've already received a ballot from me.
Where do they do that in Multnomah County? Because I didn't know they had physical.
Like Halifax, right here in Hillsborough.
Okay.
Hillsborough?
Yeah.
There's an office in Multnomah County. I'll give you the address.
Yeah, send me the address.
I'm telling you to vote early because it saves them money. Oh, we know who to call now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
we don't have to send out mailers. We know everybody who's voted. No, you're giving away everything. You're telling the enemy you're no more, and you're telling the enemy exactly where you're going to attack and how many troops you have. Don't do that. That's just dumb. You're giving away your elections already.
Wow.
Don't do it any worse than you are already.
No.
Keep it to the last minute and turn it in person. Make sure people say, well, how do I know my ballot was counted, Dr. Frank? Well, I went online and checked. Come on, how comfortable can you be?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know your ballot was the one that was counted? How do you even know it was the one in the system?
No proof of anything.
You know, on the program is totally hidden.
Vote for Ground Zero.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how many people got the email, but about a week and a half ago, I got an email from the county clerk saying they had mailed the ballot.
Yes, April 29th, they went out.
Yeah, I got my ballots already.
You didn't get yours.
I've not received that email before.
You didn't get the email.
He said he's never received it before.
You never received it before.
It's a new thing. Yeah.
All right. I already told you about Venezuela. I already told you about Fulton County. I mean, all these things are happening for a reason. He's preparing us. So I've already run the numbers.
His bow tie is pretty
We're gonna
dope.
win the election. We're going to lose big time in the midterms. That's normal. Whoever wins the president, the other party wins the midterms. That's pretty common. And all the trends, I could spend another half an hour showing you all the trends and showing you all my math. The midterms are in ugly shape. Do you think he's going to let that stand? You think he's going to let himself be impeached again? No way. He's just going to say, here's the foreign interference and nullify it. That's what's going to happen. That's what
I was
think
thinking about asking him, you guys.
So I'm just telling you the truth. I can be wrong, and
I'm gonna ask him if he knows.
I'll be the first one to say, "Yep, I was wrong." Hallelujah.
At the end.
Yeah, when we're done, yeah.
Because, but God gave us a miracle. God gave us Kamala as I mean, that's the worst candidate in the history of my life.
We avoided a nuclear bomb in that one.
Like underperformed.
We avoided a nuclear holocaust.
She did well. The Democrats didn't turn out for her, and even with all the cheating, it still wasn't enough to pull it out.
She didn't get a single vote.
Fulton County is just.
I know what you're asking.
I don't.
So there's something else that I haven't talked about. And I don't want to get far afield because nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. And everybody's waiting for something to happen. Sort of like, why do you keep waiting for the Epstein files? Yep. Those people are all controlled. I'll tell you one story, then I gotta move on. I was sitting with Patrick Byrne a couple of years ago. Actually, he was 22. Man, time flies. We're having
Rebel has a new
he
name.
was explaining to me how he set up the sting on Hillary Clinton with Afghanistan. I don't know if you're aware of that story, but when he set up the sting where Hillary Clinton took an $18 million bribe from Afghanistan in exchange to sell them a bunch of yellow cake, a bunch of uranium. She sold us out.
Yes.
Yeah. We have all of that documented. That's like opening shut cases. She should be dangling from a rope. That's treason. She should be hanging from a rope. So I said to Patrick, I said, I don't understand. I said, you've got all the goods on her. Why is she hanging from a rope?
Holly Wally
He looked at
people
me
all
like I
day.
was rude because I really was pretty still naive at that point. And he said, you don't prosecute your assets.
Oh, okay.
She's now an asset. She's controllable. But she's also controlling them. Because everybody's got the goods on everybody. And I could talk about sex trafficking, which is like now larger. The child sex trafficking industry in America is now larger than the illegal drug industry in America.
Jeez, that's crazy.
There are children.
That's something I
We spend more raping kids than we do taking illegal drugs. That's what's going on. And all those people have pictures of each other, and they're all controlling. It's like, what are you telling me? I'm telling you, we're all going down together. There's some stuff. Watch with Comey. Watch with Comey. Comey's turning. Comey's going to turn state evidence. If he lives. Yeah. We're off topic, aren't we? But
yeah, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about.
Yep.
Does this, these ruling from the Supreme Court about the gerrymandering of the
Yeah,
district?
redistricting on digital lines.
Does that play into this?
Yes, because there are about 20 seats in the House that can be changed by changing redistricting. Right now, they're districts that have been gerrymandered in favor of Democrats because of racial lines. If you undo those, it gives us 20 more seats we're likely to. And so.
I heard she's on house arrest. There was
But as I
pretend
said-
media was saying she's on house arrest.
Okay, can I get back on topic?
That's up to you. That's up to you.
So I don't think, I'm not counting on any lawsuits for Lifeline. The lawsuits, you know, it's hard to get anybody, with lawsuits. Besides, they take forever, and that's not. All right, let's just, while I'm talking here, let me get this up and running here. I forgot how big I should have.
Oh no, I forgot about the kids.
Can you tell I like to talk?
Fair. Sure. We like listening. It's okay.
God made me this way. All right, this file is opening. It's a big file. What it is it has 6 copies of your Washington County voter rolls. And it has everybody who's been removed and everybody who's been added each time there's a new copy of voter rolls. It's like, I call it a complete set. And then what I've done is I've taken the most recent set and added back in everybody who was deleted from the earlier set. So it's like a master list of your voter rolls for the last 6 years. And then I sort that by precinct and then by address. And then you can have your neighborhood and you can look at everybody in your neighborhood and every address in your neighborhood. And what you're going to be shocked what you see in your own neighborhood. What I'm going to be asking your team to do is I'm giving them this file. And they're going to chop it up into pieces and they're going to give you your file for your neighborhood. And you're going to look at your own neighborhood and go, what? That person's passed away. We just mailed them a ballot. What's that? This person moved away 5 years ago. We're still mailing them ballots. This person's been dead 10 years. And they've been voting in the last 3 elections.
Crazy.
And we have those kinds of evidence. You are the best. What I've learned around the country is we find the fraud way faster just with the people looking in their own neighborhoods. And that has this amazing extra help. The extra help is, you know, Mary and Jill testified to
Edgar the puppet.
But you know what? You're whining now. They don't listen to that. They're just whining locals. If 10 brand new faces show up and they read fraud from their own neighborhood, and you start doing that every week, they cannot tolerate that.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be reading into
This guy's like the voting Bill Nye signs.
from citizens showing that your voter rolls are bad, showing that your elections are corrupt, that people are stealing your ballots. Yes, sir.
Are you breaking those down by precinct?
Yes, and we'll give you your own precinct in your own neighborhood. And what we're really doing, if you think about it, is we're building a movement. And it's working. It's trying.
Are you giving a copy to the sheriff and have his team here?
So the sheriffs are important in your state. In fact, your state is still open in time. We're not in a big file.
Sure.
You have the best sheriffs in the country. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
You have the best sheriffs. They even have their own magazine. And they're still constitutional, which means they have the authority. Where the county line begins, they are essentially God. No one can arrest the sheriff in your county except the coroner. Arrest the sheriff. And in many of the counties I'm in, the coroner and the sheriff are the same guy. They're the same guy. So no, that person inside of this county is untouchable. Okay. So your sheriffs are important because I was up in Michigan a few years ago, and a young man, he's a high school kid, came to me, Dr. Frank, I'm going to be a policeman next year. And I said, you've graduated from high school. I said, why do you want to be a policeman? A policeman enforces the mayor's will on the people.
Yeah.
I said, you should be a sheriff. A sheriff swears an oath to defend the citizens against the law. The sheriff swears an oath to defend your constitutional rights. You want to defend the people. And like,
Peanut
kind of
butter bacon
cross
sausage.
a few days later, I was speaking at another county in Michigan, and he was at the meeting, came with Dr. Frank, I'm gonna be a sheriff. That's great, because our constitutional rights, that to me, if you want to protect people, that's it. So your sheriffs are constitutional sheriffs. They have the ability to interpose on your behalf. So let's say that your governor says you have to turn in all your guns.
Never.
What are your sheriffs gonna say?
No.
I'm not gonna enforce that in my county. Or if your governor says, we're gonna force you all to wear masks. The sheriff stand up and defend you?
Yeah.
Maybe he's winning.
They didn't enforce it in the jury, yes, maybe 10%.
Okay. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Rest of all-
Your sheriff's job, I got you. Your sheriff's job is to interpose and defend you. If the state says we're gonna take away your guns, you say, we're not gonna comply. Because you don't have to comply, it's a violation of your constitutional rights, right?
Yep.
Well, guess what? If we can prove that your voter rolls and your election system are inserting illegal votes into your elections, every one of those ballots is disenfranchising you from your constitutional rights. Every one is nullifying one of your rights. And if your county commissioner say, well, Dr. Frank, you only showed us 10. That would be like saying, well, there were only 10 murders last year in Washington, that didn't change the population much. No, every ballot matters. Every ballot is paid for with blood. Every ballot is our constitutional voice being nullified, every fraudulent ballot. So
Tomorrow. See.
we understand it when, I bet you, we
go to the
understand when
waterfront
the governor says,
with
give
that
us your
sign.
guns until pound sand. You tell them which end you want first.
Ready?
Yeah. Which end do you want, come and take them. We
Yeah.
say no. But somehow, when the government says, give us your ballots, we say, okay, what's wrong with you? Same thing that's wrong with me. We've been conditioned into this. We don't have to comply with an unconstitutional order. All we lack is the organization. All we lack is the will and the knowledge. You had to end.
Did not elect our sheriff.
He was appointed.
She was appointed by the county commissioner on a midterm bid thing and
She.
several opportunities
said.
to bring forward work.
Sheriff Caprice Massey.
Yeah, she does not.
So she's actually not constitutional then. She wasn't elected.
Yikes.
She was also the way she was.
Yeah, she was in a last.
Washington County has not had a true constitution.
Wow. So you haven't had anybody.
Oh, we can't have that.
Rights then.
Oh, no.
Except you.
No way.
Huh. If I'm walking down the street and
Did you
somebody's
notice that
living
spirit
married.
around is painted the same color as Waffle House?
And then take it.
The former sheriff stepped down midterm, she was appointed,
That's okay for one.
and then she was elected.
Oh,
You know what we need to do?
then she is constitutional.
You know what we need to do is we need to take a flag wave flyer that we're gonna do. And we're gonna put it about to be.
That she has.
Oh, yeah.
Sheriffs don't even know. Even though they don't even know they have to file.
That's right.
So a lot of times when I sit with the sheriffs, I'm teaching them. It's crazy. Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask about.
Are you having fun?
What can be done for
Yes.
getting the sheriffs to monitor in real time election processes, making sure that they are not fighting it's a chain of custody, because it's a lot easier to stop something that's going wrong in the process instead of having all the votes cast and all the news is shut down, and now you're looking for a lost dog instead of taking care of it.
So what did I tell you the major problem was?
That's probably how you think.
So how is the sheriff gonna stop that? The ballots have already been mailed out. Nothing really he can do about that. I suppose he can supervise the verification. Maybe, but that's a lot of ballots to check out. That's 400,000, a lot of manpower. It's a lot of manpower that he doesn't have. What I find is sheriffs balk at this, which is why we don't ask the sheriffs to do anything at this point. At this point, all we do is bring them the cases of fraud. They sign case numbers. We read those into the formal record during the county commissioner meetings. Actual cases of fraud we read in. That's all we ask the sheriffs to do at first. Later, when the county says we're not gonna comply with the unconstitutional and illegal system of the state, the sheriff can then link elbows with the other sheriffs. I got about 10 sheriffs so far in your state that are ready to link elbows on this. We're doing pretty good in that category. I don't expect your commissioners to suddenly come to Jesus. I don't expect that, but other commissioners in your state have already.
Shane got mad.
That's not
Okay.
So let me just show you your own motor rules. Remember I told you, what I have is I have a summary page here.
Oh, no.
And they're supposed to.
He's
showcase
trolling. No, we're joking about it.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2,
Pretend that's it.
6 copies of your motor rolls, based on your.
All right, you guys, I'm pulling a pretend. If you guys don't super chat, I'm turning the live off.
I just skipped over so much stuff because we're having too much fun on questions. I think I have to. I'm not gonna stop this because I don't want to read that.
You're gonna turn the video off. You said $2 to put the video back on it.
Because they're not gonna understand it. I have to show you. So give me a second. I'm gonna go back to this. I skipped over something you've got to understand. If you don't understand it, you're not gonna understand what I'm about to show you. Okay, come on, catch up. There you go. Let's see. I need to teach you a word called churn. Shift F5. All right, so churn. So let's say your county has 100 people in it, and 10 people move out, and 10 people move in. That's 20 changes to your population out of 100. We call that a 20% churn. With me? Not a hard number. How many changes were there? What percent of the total is that?
Sorry, I don't think we can scrape together 30 bucks. Damn. It's like gonna go then.
Healthy voter rolls should be about 70% of the voting age population. That's a healthy voter rolls. And over the years, over the following, say, in this example, that's 4 more years. Over the years, people die, people move away. There's a natural churn that is healthy. It's a 2% a year. That's a natural thing that should be happening. But in your state, something else is going on. In your state, they've inflated the voter rolls right up to the limit and beyond. And what's happening is they're constantly churning those extra names. And what that does is it gives you a constant supply of active voters who you're mailing ballots to, who don't even know they're in the rolls a lot of times. And then they remove them a couple of years later, and then they add a couple and they remove a couple. And so about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I was here working with the teams yesterday.
So when they're doing that, it makes the math you've been showing us that you do look pretty mild. Who's doing that?
That's Eric. Eric's doing that.
Okay, so who's running that?
That's an NGO started by Soros in 2006.
Because that's a lot of calculations and a lot of management.
And it's a simple algorithm, and we already put the algorithms into the public record in December 8th, 2021 in the Wisconsin legislature. And it was written by CTCL in collaboration, so that's Zuckerberg's organization, the Zuckerbucks, in collaboration with the clerks in Michigan, Wisconsin.
And what happened?
The legislator, her name is Janelle Branch, and she's a state senator. The Republicans got rid of her.
Tommy is my Uber today.
They pushed it under the rug. Robin Fox. Oh my goodness. Don't get me started. I can tell you so many stories. I've met with 24 secretaries of state. I've testified before a dozen legislatures. I've been like all over the country doing this, thinking that was the way to fix it. And like most people, I thought that's how to fix it. Top down. Nope. Bottom up. We're the solution. All right. So you all know what churn is now, yes?
Yes.
I needed to show you that. Okay. Now when I go back to this other thing, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So back to your spreadsheet. Okay. So in January of 21, your total voter rolls had 437,000 people in it. By the way, your total voter rolls now has 491,000 in it 5 years later. Wait a minute, I thought the population was going down.
Not according to them.
Oh, I have some extra minutes, so I have to feel rushed. Thank you. Y'all, if you want to leave, don't offend me, but I'm getting to the good stuff. Although it's all good, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so in other words, wait, your population's going down, but your rolls went up by about 10%. over that period of
and
time.
break Tommy's
Now, what's the color see?
tripod.
There's 437,000 people. He looks a year later and they have 449,000. What does he think?
Oh, Doug, thank you for the memberships. Thank you for the gifted memberships.
1,000 and up 34,000. He doesn't see those big swings. He only's adding and removing a few. This is.
Thank you, Ricky.
Don't believe me? I've got the list right here. Every person who was removed and every person was added. Okay, I've got it all worked out. That's why that's such a big file. Okay, next year, remove 23,000, added 37,000. Isn't that, you notice a pattern here? Next year, remove 21,000, added 35,000.
Shut the fuck up, Climax. You didn't carry me, bro.
Every year, it's the same amount. And by the way, it's the same in every county.
Okay, maybe a little bit.
You get it?
Maybe a little bit.
And so, all the way over here, so if I take this most recent copy of the rolls from March and I add back in everybody who was removed, now I have a master list. Got it? So instead of only having 491,000 in the master list, I have 610,000. That's how many people have been in your rolls in the last 4 years. Now, if I summarize that, your voter roll
Polly over here calling
in 5 years. Did your population turn over? Did you have a churn of 2/3 of your population? Your voter rolls churn 2/3 of your voter rolls.
You can call them people, but there aren't people.
They are real people.
Where are those people?
They are people who are passing through. They are people who are not citizens. They're real people. You can find them, but they're not. They're in and they're out. They're in and they're out. And
They're in the nursing home.
they're all over the place. We've done studies all around the country.
Guests.
People want to think that they're not real, but they are. We always find
Pinkerton, what up, bro?
they're not really there. They're not really not supposed to be there. They're in that top 30% who never wanted to vote anyway. So that's churning your rolls, and half of that churn is with NAVs, non-affiliated voters. And what that means is when you get a driver's license as a 16-year-old, and they say, you want to be in the rolls? Yeah. They put you in as a NAV, a non-affiliated voter, because you didn't specify whether you want to be a Republican or a Democrat, something like that. Or if you miss 2 elections and they mail you a postcard and you don't reply, they change your status to a NAV.
They're not giving them out, babe. It's just for the
Those are
church.
people that are in your roles. And I think I already told you the story of the leader of the party. I've told you that story, maybe. Yes, ma'am.
Is it consistent down to the precinct level or the percentage?
Yes. She asked me if it's a consistent percentage in the precincts. The reason I paused is because I have graphs of that. Do you know me now? I graph everything. I dig into it. It's crazy, but it's how I know what I know, right? And it's how I'm showing you what's. So you guys got a feeling, but the thing that's worrisome to me is not the fact that your rolls have churned that much. The fact that's worrisome to me is 1 in 6 of the people who voted in 2020 in Washington County are no longer in your rolls. 1 in 6. Did you lose 1/6 of your population? No. And those are people who voted.
Yeah.
1 in 5 of the people who were registered have been removed. But 1 in 7, 1/6 of the people who voted have also been removed. Now, I just want you to see how dirty your rolls really are. So let's just do this. So I'm just going to look somebody up. Who wants to give me your address?
You got it in the audience.
Yes, you first, then you. Yeah.
5356 Northeast Arrow.
Registered at your address. How many people live there?
1.
What?
Yeah. What did I tell you?
Wow.
This never
Register.
fails. Why?
They just
Because
randomly
I told you, it's 30% too many in your
That's
rolls.
crazy.
That's crazy.
It's everywhere.
4 people.
Okay, now, let me just kind of summarize this a little bit so you understand what I've just shown you.
Yeah, but does she know any of them?
Yeah, they're former owners.
Do you get those ballots?
Oh, no, well, let's talk about that. So remember, I have 6 copies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies of the voter rolls. This is their status in each copy. Active or not there at all or inactive. So I'm showing you 6 years of history real quickly in the rolls, just right there. Makes it super easy. And then this is whether they voted in the general elections. So if there's nothing, that means there weren't mailed a ballot and nothing happened. If they were mailed a ballot and didn't return it, an N comes back. If they were mailed a ballot and they did return it, a Y comes back. So yes. And then this special column, this is if they voted in Washington County. Because sometimes people move into the county from other counties and their voting district comes with them. And I want to distinguish whether they voted here or somewhere else. So that's what that. This is, just ignore this for now. But the propensity, this is how many elections over here I have recorded that a person has voted. This is their age as of 2020. And then you can see the names and address. Now, what I've done is, you notice how they're shaded? Light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. And it's easy to see addresses quickly. So you'll notice that.
Thank you, Tom.
That is to see. All right, so at your address, there's only one active voter right now. It is you.
Yeah.
And you're 58 now. And you're looking good for 58. Okay. And so what I did, I picked 1 year. I picked 1 year for reference because I have 6 years. So I picked 2020. So if you look in here, you find somebody under, here's somebody who's 13. Okay. Yeah, but they were 13 as of 2020. They're 18 now or 19 now. They didn't get put in the rolls till recently. So I just had to pick 1 year to keep it from being confusing. So 1 year is the reference year. So now your residents, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 people in the rolls. Well, actually, one of them just got taken out this last year. So this person finally got taken out. Okay, but the other 2 didn't. They're still listed in the rolls as inactive. And they were already supposed to be removed because they missed 2 federal elections.
They're out of the state. So what is the probability of those 2 inactives?
I don't get in trouble, Cly.
All they have to do is call in and say, I want a ballot, and they're immediately active. Wow. Or if they accidentally touch some legal system, like they go to jail, or they call in about the Social Security or something, then suddenly they'll become active again. They're automatic there. So now, did I see any fraud here? No, I don't see any fraud, and I see that you're a good vote. Way to go. In fact, you voted live, vote 8 times with that over here. You know, and I can scroll over there and show you, but I'm trying to keep this simple for the big group. You've got all the elections over there. Okay, so I just showed you the general elections here just for simplicity. There's also the primaries and the other stuff. So that's one example.
I will mention something though. There's a small anomaly on that record. You want me to tell you about
What
it?
is it? You're not really 53 in 2020.
I was. I did not vote in 2020.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Yes, you did.
I did not vote in 2020.
He says he didn't vote in 2020. Uh-oh.
Somebody used your name
Yeah.
and cast a ballot.
That's actually information I wanted to take in the county.
I told you this was everywhere. In your
Wow.
The very first person I looked at, we found 2 people that were supposed to have been removed and haven't been removed. And we found 1 case of fraud. Okay. The very first address we looked at. That's going to go in your fraud.
First address. Very first address.
But if she had looked at that by herself, she wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
Which is why you have to help. We're going to get you your neighborhoods. You look in your own neighborhoods. You're going to turn in massive amounts of fraud. But it's more than just finding the evidence. Now you are educated and you know it's real. It's not, well, Dr. Frank came and told us this and this and this. No. In my own house, I found a case of fraud. It's personal.
Yeah.
And when you have 100 people standing up in front of your county commissioner saying, this is personal, this is in my house, this is in my neighborhood, We will not tolerate this anymore. Do you see the difference? Do you see that that's a much different thing than waiting for Trump to fix something? Yeah.
And you go to the door, it's a Democrat, they get pissed off too.
Oh, are you kidding? They don't like, when people find out that people are voting using their names, they're unhappy. This is not a Republican Democrat issue. Win them over. Yes, ma'am.
I moved from, Washington.
Let's just lift you up.
To, Clackamas County.
What's your address? Are you in Washington now?
I'm in Clackamas.
So you want your, oh, let's just see if you're still in Washington. What's
I'm
what's your next?
excited about this.
4742 Rosario Lane. Rosario.
Couldn't find it, so it's out of the rolls.
Oh,
But they, yeah. When you must have moved while back registered.
it was 2 years.
Huh.
I moved there.
I'm surprised. Did I make this 14742?
I'm thinking, yeah.
I think you did it wrong.
Oh, I thought
Because I have the rolls back to 2021.
I bet it's Southwest from South.
Yeah.
Southwest Rosario.
Oh.
There you go.
There you go.
Are you there?
I bet you're there.
Yeah, don't worry. My husband and I are we off?
So Karen and Stephen, yes? 23. Except it shows you never voted.
Well,
We did.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
You were active in 2023.
Saying
That's the
that
only
they
time you
didn't
were ever
vote,
active.
they said they
That's the only
did.
time you ever-
Wow.
That's the only record they have. That's the only record they have.
Oh my,
Yeah, that's.
So that could be a piece of voter
Since
right?
they marked the ballots now on the outside, they probably threw hers away.
There you go.
oh my.
Okay. I'm 2 for 2. I'm 2 for 2.
Guys. Insane.
No, you have 0 ballots recorded in your name.
The vote, they're both off and so.
There's so many people here live streaming. I don't think it really matters.
11303.
Control flying. 11
It's not a website. I think he created that himself.
Northwest.
Kenzie.
KENC.
Yeah, I.
There you are.
But then
That's a strange last name.
I received 3 duplicate ballots.
Oh, wait a minute. 3 of all to you?
Well, no. My husband got 2 and 2 of my boys got 2 each.
Wow.
You only have 1 boy in the rolls.
Oh,
And I brought all back with me if you want to look at them.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
missing one.
There's only 1 boy in the rolls. That's
They're
interesting.
missing one
So
person.
maybe that was added since March
Getting double
of 2026.
ballot.
Did he just turn 18 or something?
Yes.
That's it. That's what happened. Okay, so your anomaly isn't here. Your anomaly is for some reason they felt the need to send you multiple copies of the ballot.
People got
So it isn't
ballot.
enough that they're mailing ballots to people who they shouldn't
Also-
be. They're also double mailing, triple mailing. Somebody sent me a text today on my Facebook page, not text, but a picture on my Facebook page.
So much
showing
fraud.
6 ballots, the 2 people that got registered.
Our mom's friend found 9.
You're-
Yeah, we needed this to
Look
vote.
at that money you're wasting. Those are costing you between $5 and $10 a piece. Because not only are they being mailed out, so you have to pay for printing
Our tax
and
bill
mailing and
paying for
processing,
that too.
but a lot of them are coming back, so they cost you double. Yes, ma'am.
So all those 3 ballots that they created voter, but then they switched.
Non-affiliated. it says. Yeah, the NAP, so you have a Republican, that's you. And then he's a NAP, so he's put in automatically probably. And then Victor is an independent.
Yes.
Yes,
Then they switched, so then it caused them to.
yes, gotcha. When they switched, it changed things. Yeah, very good. Okay. I'm not even trying.
Never. Oh, I watch all his stuff.
I am not like
Hilarious.
you understand. Everywhere you look is a disaster in your roles. Why are you using that?
Every single where.
Yes.
Everybody's unique.
And yes, exactly.
Situation.
So a lot of times it's, I work with data teams and I love, because I'm a data person myself. A lot of times I'll say, well,
Right.
this is what I want you to do. I want you to divide it up and give
That
it
was
to
gonna happen
communities.
tonight.
But I give them the data and you see how addicting it is?
Yeah.
And
Get it.
oh, I'm I'm fighting to just find out, Frank, I don't need you to help me. Yes, you do. You do. Divide it up. But they've been doing this for about 2 years and they are rolling in fraud, okay? 5 years, sorry, I'll take it back. Let me give you one example that I learned from them that I've been talking around the country to everybody. And it goes like this. I was in Clackamas County and they were having trouble finding dead voters. And well, I told him, what are you doing? He said, well, we're using, at that time, this was the most recent one. We're using the most recent copy of the rolls and we sorted them from oldest to youngest and we're starting to look them up. That's what you told us to do. I said, no, that's not what I told you to do. But anyway, and we're finding dead voters. Next day, I was with you guys, remember? We were in that little hotel conference room.
Trump in there, but
Strawberry or berry.
Raspberry pie.
That raspberry pie. Oh, that was good. I remember that. Yes. And I said, how's it going, guys? And he said, oh, we're finding all kinds of dead voters. Oh, yeah, well, explain it to me. Well, you found people that died 2011, 2012, several of them. And then when they died, they didn't vote for a while, a couple of years, but then they started voting again. Okay? It's Lazarus. You know, Lazarus. They started voting again. And how many of those do you have?
Dale, thank you.
Yeah, I'm only at 20%.
Yeah, I'm almost ready to go.
In other words, but what was different about what they were doing
Go get
versus what
something to eat.
Clackamas is doing? Clackamas was only using the most recent. They were finding people who died in 2011, 2012, didn't vote for a while, then voted, and then after 2023, they were removed. So if you're only using the most recent copy of the rolls, you're going to miss it. How are they being removed? With the churn. The churn is a built up cleaning up the evidence after the fact. It's like, you know, you're on Gunsmoke, I got your hand. We're in Gunsmoke, you know, Matt Dillon is chasing me and I'm the bad guy. I hop off my horse, I grab the wrench and I dust the ground, but as I walk my horse off the trail, I'm covering my tracks. They're not gonna know where I am. The churn is constantly cleaning up the evidence of fraud in your state. That's why the churn is so valuable. Well, and it's giving you new names to mail to all the time.
And on a few of them, you know, early on, when we were telling the elections office that, hey, we found these dead, you know, the dead.
Yes.
And you need to remove them.
Yes.
And so they would go in and remove that and backdate the cancellation to their date of death.
They would
So
backdate it.
Raise the
To
record.
hide the fact that they've been mailing ballots to them after the
Oh
fact.
my God.
Wow.
That's too much.
I think that could be at least a misdemeanor, yeah, yeah, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, there's something.
Federal prison.
Yes,
What is the goal?
the goal is for you, I've made the goal clear, the goal is for you to be in local control of your elections. How do you get to that goal? You have to first show overwhelmingly in your community that your voter roll, that your elections have been stolen from you. And people will rise up and say, we're not gonna tolerate that anymore. Now, I'm in Washington County. And you're a different animal. So it's gonna take a heck of a movement here. Except your commissioners might be willing to say, well, gee, out of 491,000, if a third of those don't belong on the rolls, gee, that's about 15 or 16,000 times $10. Well, that's
I got ADHD.
$1.6 million. Every election, we can say.
I got ADHD, bro.
1.6 million.
Oh shit. Damn. So what's happening? Are you guys watching Pam Tifa's space? I got in it for a minute earlier and I heard Spider Mike saying, oh, I took down that stop sign because it was confusing. It was confusing and I took it to the city that night at 9:30 and dropped it off. No, the fuck he didn't. That fool's a fucking liar. Fool's a fucking liar. I had ADHD. I couldn't sit in there no more. Look. I went for a ride with this shirt on earlier with Ghostface. And he said, He said that he could see my shirt. Interesting. He said that. Oh shit, that was weird. He said that he could see it from like 10 cars back. He could see it. Oh shit. He wanted to see some squirrels and motorcycles. Oh, there's no squirrels out here. Oh shit. That sign ended up in ICE's driveway the night they trashed it. Yeah, he didn't fucking take it and drop it off at the city. We all seen that it was in the driveway after he left. Hey, Climatics, I'm gonna steal your squirrel fucking army when I come out there, bro. I'm taking them all home with me. Yeah, I liked the thumbnail, the Edgar thumbnail. I liked it. Yeah, I got a stain of water or something. Oh, you missed. This was one of my very first. This was one of my very first Trump shirts. I got it on TikTok, and it's good fucking quality. It's good quality for TikTok. Usually TikTok, they're stupid ass thin. Tommy, I got a new quote. If you can steal a stop sign, you don't need no disability. Yeah. 405 pounds of pure D dookie. Pure D dookie. Stop feeding the squirrels. Don't tell him to stop feeding those squirrels. He's allowed to feed his army squirrel. Don't get them all dependent on you and then just cut them off. That's fucked up. Buy a bag of ice, get half off a can of Raid. Oh shit. Lester. In the Midwest, you have black squirrels. That's racist. Nah, probably not. Why? Probably not. Well, Spider Mike's court detail about it. I'm pretty sure it's just an arraignment. So it's gonna be. I'm not racist in the South because I drink chocolate milk. Hey, if that, I mean, I'm not racist either. I drink lots of chocolate milk. We have black squirrels in Colorado. They attack the brown squirrels. Is that racist? I like grape soda, the cheap kind too. Cheap ass grape soda. I'm not racist either. I love the blacks. Uh, Never seen no albino squirrel. Bro, I'm gonna Google albino squirrel. Hold up. I wonder if there's such a thing. Holy shit, that's a badass squirrel, bro. Oh, I should probably be quiet. Look at that shit. Look at that fucking squirrel, bro. What? Damn, that shit shrunk hella. Supposed to get bigger when I go sideways, not small. Look at this one, bro. It looks almost like it looks almost like a gerbil. Look at that. Look at that sexy little squirrel, little handsome stud. Look at him. I bet you he gets all the squirrel girls. Bet you he gets all the squirrel girls. Uh, that is adorable. Look at that little thing, dude. You done sent me down a whole fucking squirrel hole. You done sent me down a whole fucking white squirrel hole. Look at that fluffy white tail. That is so interesting. How rare is the albino squirrel? True albino squirrels are extremely rare, with estimates suggesting they occur in only 1 out of every 100,000 squirrels. What? True albinos have pink or red eyes. The leucistic white squirrels, which have partial pigment loss and dark eyes. The true albinos are much more rare. That's crazy. My girl's mom, my girl's mom feeds squirrels by her house too, and they're little chunky fuckers too. Martin Ging. Those all from Germany. They're German squirrels, bro. They're German squirrels. Polly, that's mighty wide of you. You see an albino squirrel every week? What are the odds of that, bro? If I seen a white squirrel, I'm kidnapping it and I'm making it my new best friend. If I come across a white squirrel, I'm gonna get some nuts and I'm gonna get them to come to me and I'm gonna catch them and I'm taking them home forever. I'm gonna make it my slave squirrel. I wonder if there's albino prairie dogs. Man, what you guys sending me on these damn prairie dogs are pretty crazy looking. You know, when I was in prison, we used to catch prairie dogs on the yard, and those little things are mean, bro, but they can't bite very hard, but they're mean. There are, bro. Look. Look at that. He's just standing there, dude. He's just standing there. Look at that prairie dog. Tahiti Way, what up, bro? Look at them. They're so adorable. Look at that little thing. He's hiding from the birds. He's hiding from the birds. He's trying to stay low. You know, the white ones are smart. uh, albino moose? Man, I'm going to just look up albino animals. See what all kind. Albino animal. Oh, a fucking albino giraffe? No fucking way, bro. An albino giraffe. Look at the giraffe. Albino gator. Look, there's albino deer, albino bison, Pinky the bottlenose dolphin. What? There's a pink dolphin. Bro, a zebra with no black stripes. It's a zebra, albino zebra with no black stripes. Craziness. Kangaroo, albino kangaroo. Bro, have you ever seen an albino zebra? Have you ever seen an albino zebra? We're out here looking
I
up.
don't understand anything. 2.5 hours.
I know for real, right? I had my ADHD kicked in, bro. I had to go
Oh,
for a
man.
walk.
I mean, he's got a lot of knowledge.
Yeah,
but
he's very smart.
He just can't stay on topic.
Mm.
And he's telling so many stories. I'm out here with Tommy. Tommy couldn't take it anymore either. And here's ground zero.
The one thing I could say is that he kind of over explained a lot of things.
Yeah, he
Could've
goes
done
from one topic to another.
It could
Like,
have been done in like an
Yeah.
hour, an hour 50.
Yeah.
And he goes on. And
Story after
I was telling my chat as if he tells one more story.
Yeah,
unalive
that's what.
myself.
Yeah, when he said I got a story for that, I was like, oh, not
Yeah,
another one.
I came out here and started looking at albino animals.
He likes to hear himself.
No, I mean like it was good information. He could have.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He's got amazing knowledge.
Yeah, he's really smart.
But like,
Could have done
and
it
he's
in a
like,
shorter amount of
oh, we're
time.
getting to the good stuff. And I'm like,
What do you mean? We
fucking
already-
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You waited 2 hours?
Well, we already heard the good stuff.
Yeah.
We did, but
We did.
like,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, yeah.
That was crazy though.
Did you know there's albino squirrels?
Yeah, there's albino everything.
Albino prairie dogs?
Yeah.
Albino giraffes?
Albino black people.
No.
Yes.
There's no albino black
Yes,
people.
there are.
Because then
You
they would
don't
just be
get-
white.
They're not. They
no.
have curly hair.
Oh shit, I guess. They say gingers are black, but I think that's bullshit.
No, they're albino blacks. Look it up. You're gonna crack your ass. You're gonna crack up.
Oh shit, I'm ready to go get something to eat.
And who the hell is in the back coughing nonstop?
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
That pisses me off. Like,
Eh.
bring your friggin' cold.
Bring your cold to
Keep
us.
your cold at home. All right. Well,
All right, you guys, we're out of here.
I'm gonna sign off and go in and say hi to Iceman.
God bless you guys.
We're gonna cut off the chat, guys.
I love you guys.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Have a good night. Albino black people are just whitewashed black people, I guess, right?
Literally uncovered fraud.
I love you guys. God bless. I'll see you guys tomorrow.